Chapter 1450, The Great Bullying. Chapter 1450, The Great Bullying, I'm back. There were 3 people standing at the entrance of the martial arts practice field. Long Fei, Nangong Yen, Yi Jingyun. Tuoba Yuan's eyes shook, revealing an excited smile. However, Kai Tiannan's brows tightened, and his expression was extremely displeased. His eyes were filled with anger, and he said in a heavy voice, "It's been so long since we've returned." "Huh, do you think this is your house? Moreover, the 3 of you are clearly at the foot of the mountain. Why are you still not returning?" Kai Tianan said sternly. Long Fei walked over and said indifferently, "If I came in advance, wouldn't I not be able to see how worried the second elder actually is about us? This really surprises us. Second elder, don't worry. From today onwards, we will never let you worry about us again." Long Fei had a proud smile on his face. Kai Tianan squinted his eyes and stared at Long Fei coldly. Tuoba Yuan smiled. "Second clan elder, he has returned in time. There is no need for us to disturb their assessment." In his heart, he was extremely displeased. With a cold laugh, he said, "Tuoba Yuan, don't be complacent. I will report everything that has happened today to the Tower Master truthfully. The choice you made, you will have to pay the price for yourself." Then, Kai Tianan glanced at Long Fei coldly and said, "Brat, you have just started. Don't worry, I will always be concerned about you." After which his figure blurred and he disappeared from the spot. Tuoba Yuan slowly let out a breath of air. Long Fei had returned, but he was going to face even more pressure, confrontation, and all sorts of dangerous things. He wasn't sure if he could last until the end. Since he had made his choice, he could only choose to trust Long Fei. Tuoba Yuan walked in front of Long Fei and said, "No matter what happens, you have to endure it. Your goal in coming to the Tower Question of God is not to fight with anyone, but to break through the Tower Question of God and enter the ancient holy battlefield. Remember, any kind of suppression is a form of experience for you. These things will become incomparably pale and laughable when you break through the ancient holy battlefield." "Long Fei, do your best." Tuoba Yuan patted Long Fei's shoulder. He valued Long Fei a lot. Ever since Long Fei had refined the Tathagata divine pellet, he had always regarded it with importance. Long Fei said in a heavy voice, "I will remember the elder's words. This disciple will remember them." Tuoba Yuan smiled lightly. Long Fei asked, "Clan elder, where is clan elder Wang Shishir? Is she all right?" Tuoba Yuan was startled after a few seconds of hesitation. He said, "I don't know, but I know one thing. If you can rush into the Tower Question of God, if you can get good results from the Tower Question of God, I believe she will appear in front of you. Long Fei, you must do your best. Let those people who have looked down on you open their eyes wide. And look, you are truly awesome. Do you understand? Wang Shishir had been suppressed, but he did not know where he was right now. However, he knew that as Long Fei managed to achieve a good result, Wang Shishir would be able to let it out safe and sound. Long Fei's heart trembled. He was not stupid. He was naturally able to understand the meaning behind Tuoba Yuan's words. He silently thought in his heart, "Whoever dares to make things difficult for my big sister fairy, I'll overturn him." "Go for it," Tuoba Yuan laughed, and then disappeared into the sky in a flash. Long Fei was startled. Why is he disappearing in the different direction from the second elder? One of the disciples said, "You still don't know? The third elder has already been expelled by the Tower Question of God. He's not even comparable to a low-level elder." Long Fei's heart tightened, and his fists involuntarily tightened. This feeling was very hard to bear. The people who had helped him were being suppressed and expelled one by one. It was as if he was the bane of the heavens, and it was not only against him, but also against the people around him. "Bring it on. All of you, come at me. I will shatter you with my fist. Long Fei looked up at the sky. Half an hour later, Zhao Kong said slightly, since the three of you arrived later than the others, your examination results are halved. Nangong Yen has 50 points. Yi Jingyun has 50 points. As for Long Fei, you slaughtered a fellow sect member in the ice and snow plain. This is not allowed by the Tower Question of God. Your assessment this time, 10 points. If Long Fei was given 0 points, he wouldn't be able to continue. The top scorer in history only had the right to take the test once in a while. In the exchange between Kai Tianen and Tuoba Yuan, Long Fei had still managed to get back at him in time. If Tuoba Yuan won, he could no longer give him 0 points, and could only let Long Fei continue his assessment. Yi Jingyun immediately said, "If not for young Master Long, we would all be dead inside. Elder, you—" Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei pulled Yi Jingyun and said, "This disciple will remember the elder's teachings." Zhao Kong said, "I'll give you 10 points. Are you convinced?" Long Fei replied, "Disciple is convinced." Yi Jingyun was pulled by Long Fei and asked, "Young Master Long, on what basis?" "Why should I give you 10 points? This is obviously lowering your score. If it wasn't for you, we would all be dead inside." "Why should I?" was very angry in his heart. Nangong Yen also had an angry face and said, "This is too bullying." Zhao Kong sneered and said, "If you all feel that my punishment is unfair and think that you are bullying others, you all can choose to give up the assessment. I will absolutely not stop you and will personally send you down the mountain." They just couldn't wait for Long Fei and the others to give up. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "Clan Elder, I will continue to do so. Don't worry about us leaving." He pulled Yi Jingyun and Nangong Yen. The more he targeted Chu Feng, the more he wanted to show off and fiercely slap his face back. Zhao Kong laughed. "Very good. You need to be clear. This is the Tower Question of God's assessment grounds. I am your examiner, so whatever I say is what it is. If anyone dares to disobey, humph, I will let him know of my methods. Dismissed today. The 5th round of the assessment will begin tomorrow." Young Master Long, I can't even swallow your words. This is too bullying. Bullying isn't the same. What do you mean by giving me 10 points? They destroyed the secret world's exit, and now that we are out, they are in a bad mood. Did they mess with his sister, or did they play with his mother? Yi Jingyun was filled with anger. Nangong Yen looked at Long Fei and said, "The Tower Question of God indeed have a way to enter the ancient holy battlefield, but we don't need to suffer such grievances. Long Fei, if you—" Without waiting for Nangong Yen to finish, Long Fei smiled lightly and interrupted him. "Don't worry, the more they obstruct me, the more it means that they are afraid of me. Against me, I will slap it back. I will go all out for the next assessment." Long Fei said heavily. His heart was filled with overflowing rage, but he had to persevere on. Chapter 1451, Heaven Destroyer, Solitary Star. Chapter 1451, Heaven Destroyer, Solitary Star. The Tower Question of God had many secrets that he wanted to know. Father's secret, something left behind by this body's father. And there was also the secret of the goddess tier. It was now regarding the matter between the big sister fairy and Tuoba Yuan. Long Fei had to continue. At night, Long Fei practiced all kinds of skills, sword techniques, and even checked the results of practicing the 2 major bases of the Heavenly Court and the Infernal Realm. He had never been so serious about anything before. Since he wanted to do it, then do your best. Unfair? Everywhere. All sorts of obstructions, all sorts of pressure. A punch shattered. Boom. Light speed sword. Long Fei moved. The heaven-decimating fist in his hands thrust it out 1,000 times in a short moment. A golden light flashed in the air, as if it was shattering. Ding! Proficiency +2. Ding! Proficiency +2. Long Fei was crazily cultivating. The next morning, he came to the training grounds early to gather. Zhao Kong walked to the stage and lightly said, "The 5th round's assessment, Beast Question of God. You will be sent to a special secret world. The demon beasts of the secret world are all rampant and rampaging about. They are all extremely powerful. Whoever can kill the Beast Question of God in the shortest amount of time will get the best results in this round." The best score in the history of this round of examination is 10 hours and 3 minutes, the record set by Zhan Wushuang. Whoever can break this record will get extra points. The disciples below were all shocked. 10 hours! How is that possible? Beast Question of God are not ordinary demon beast, but super monsters that were specially bred by them, and they are almost comparable to divinity's demon beast. Zhan Wushuang is indeed the #1 genius of the chaos realm. To be able to complete the examination in such a short amount of time, it's simply too terrifying. Below the stage, discussions were low. The secret world was huge, and it was extremely difficult to find even one Beast Question of God. Killing one within 10 hours was even more difficult. He had to say it. Zhan Wushuang's result was extremely impressive. Yi Jingyun said softly, "Elder, after we entered the secret world, there shouldn't be any problems with the exit of the secret world, right?" Everyone was shocked. It was a serious problem, but what if it happened again? Everyone looked at Zhao Kong. Zhao Kong's eyes stared straight at Yi Jingyun and shouted, "Where did all this nonsense come from? I said before, if the 3 of you didn't want to take the examination, I would absolutely not stop you and would personally send you down the mountain." Yi Jingyun laughed and said, "I am only asking, so of course I will continue." "Humph! If you continue to cause trouble like this, be careful of my punishment." Zhao Kong snorted, looked at the oracle disciples, and said slightly, "Open secret realm entrance." Yi Zichen's eyes twitched. The 2 oracles nodded in understanding. Buzz. The secret world's door opened. Zhao Kong said slightly, "All of you can enter. Remember, you can only go in for a day at the most, and if you pass for more than a day, your examination results will all be deemed unsatisfactory. Do you understand?" One disciple after another rushed into the secret world. They were also worried about what Yi Jingyun had said, but they were more worried that they would be thrown away like trash by the Tower Question of God. Tower Question of God were their chance to soar into the sky in a single leap. They absolutely could not miss this chance. Even if they knew that the secret world's exit would be sealed, they had no choice. Just like Long Fei, he knew very well in his heart that the next tests would be done to target him. But he had no choice but to face it. All disciples enter secret world. Zhao Kong laughed coldly and said, "Die inside. HNG, HNG." And then he flashed in the air and landed in second Elder Kai Tiannan's courtyard not long after. "Have you settled the things I asked you to do?" Kai Tianan asked coldly. What happened yesterday made him very unhappy. Zhao Kong nodded his head. "According to your instructions, Beast Question of God are the strongest so far. Of them, only one of them has reached the semi-realistic realm. And Long Fei's group are not even enough to fill the gaps in our teeth. Watch carefully. I can guarantee that they will never come out." And Zhao Kong laughed heartily. "I have collected half of Long Fei's qi. The moment Long Fei gets within 1,000 kilometers of that semi-god Beast Question of God, he will immediately be detected and will enter the berserk mode to ruthlessly tear Long Fei apart. He will definitely not be able to live. You have to do everything you can." This was Zhao Kong's way of doing things. Kai Tianan was very satisfied and laughed. "Ha ha, well done. Once this is done, I will let you level up. Zhao Kong was ecstatic and immediately said, "Thank you, sir." Kai Tianan laughed and said disdainfully, "To Obi-Wan, you want to fight with me? Your choice? Humph. I'll squash him like an ant. In the secret world." This was a huge mountain range that stretched off into the distance. From time to time, there would be thrilling roars coming from the depths of the mountain. Just hearing these roars caused one's heart to tremble, and one could not help but feel fear. All the disciples were standing at the foot of the mountain. My cultivation has reached the Son of God ranking realm. Does anyone want to form a team with me? Only with everyone united can we fight against the beast question of God. I promise we will each have one beast question of God, and then we will all go out together. I'm an alchemy master, and I can provide a steady stream of medicinal pellets. And beast trainer. Many disciples quickly formed a team. In a place like this, where the beast question of God were so brutal, the only way they could do it was to team up. This was the only way to deal with the beast question of God. However, none of them invited Long Fei, and the other two, Yi Jingyun, had looked for them a few times, but had always brought ridicule upon himself, so no one was willing to go with them. Young Master Long, it's not that we don't want to be together with you, but you know that a lot of elders do not like you. If we stay together with you, it will definitely affect our results. A disciple laughed. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up and didn't take it seriously. Kill the demon beast. Did he still need to form a team? He stood still at the foot of the mountain because he was excited. He could smell the smell of experience in the air. Didn't they send me experience? Could it be that I need to level up after finding it? The surrounding disciples quickly formulated their hunting plans. There were only 3 people left standing there alone. Nan Gongyan asked, "What should we do?" Long Fei slightly smiled, looked at the towering mountain that looked like a primordial beast, and said, "Let's go." With one step, he jumped into the dense forest. Many people began to laugh. Just going like that, courting death. He doesn't even know what kind of demon beast they are. If he goes in like this, he's definitely seeking death. Who cares? In any case, he will not be able to live for long. Going against an elder, isn't that just courting death? As long as we stay away from Long Fei, we'll be fine. Long Fei was a celestial destroyer star. Whoever approached, it was unlucky. It's your turn to go on stage. It's your turn to go on stage. Rumble. A giant beast the size of a mountain roared, uprooting a large tree and slamming it down heavily. Long Fei flashed and shouted, "Be careful!" Yi Jingyun's reaction was slightly slower and was immediately swept away by the powerful force. Nan Gongyan thrusted the holy artifact sword in his hand. A successful sneak attack. Shwa! Behind the demon beast's neck, a sword pierced down. But, however, the tip of the sword did not pierce into the flesh, but only slightly cut the wound. There was no way to break through it. The demon beast glared at him, then suddenly turned around and swung its right arm. Voila! Piercing the air, his right arm heavily slapped onto Nan Gongyan's body. Unable to resist the force, he was instantly sent flying. Young Master Long, this guy is too strong. What is it? It can't be that the meat of all the demon beast in Secret World is like this, right? Is the beast question of God stronger than this guy? What should we do? Yi Jingyun's face showed fear. The demon beast in front of them was too ferocious, and it was not their target either. If it was a beast question of God, how strong would it be? It was hard to imagine. Nan Gongyan crawled up from the ground, blood hanging from the corner of his mouth, and said, "The defenses on his back are stronger. This guy doesn't have any blind spots at all." Long Fei stared at the gigantic demon beast. No blind spot. This demon beast that they had encountered in the forest was extremely powerful, regardless of intelligence, reaction, speed, strength, or defense. It did not have any blind spots. Just like an omnipotent being, Nangong Yen said, this secret world was created by a former powerhouse of the Tower Question of God. The demon beast inside also came from the same Tower Question of God, and many of them are perfect existences. Right now, I'm still a little suspicious of how Zhan Wushuang managed to kill Beast Question of God in 10 hours. That's simply not possible. Nangong Yen asked doubtfully. They could not even deal with a single demon beast, let alone a Beast Question of God. It was too difficult. Yi Jingyan said, that guy is abnormal. They didn't know about the relationship between Zhan Wushuang and Long Fei. Huff. Long Fei exhaled slightly, took a step forward, and the magma on his body began to ignite, forming a line of light. The so-called perfect demon beast is just that its power is not in place. There is no such thing as perfect person in this world. Even the gods of Main Temple are the same. My strength isn't enough to crush him. Perfect demon beast. If a human is not perfect, then what about demon beast? Just like formations, breaking one's formation might have a trick up its sleeve, but the simplest and most crude method was to use absolute crushing force to smash down. It was the same for the demon beast in front of him. Calming down, Long Fei moved his right hand, heaven-decimating sword. Buzz. The heaven-decimating sword was summoned and ignited in Long Fei's hand. It turned into a ball of fire, and the magmatic fruit on Long Fei's body was activated. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. Shwa! His figure moved, and the flames shot out. One slash. The Hellfire Lotus's aura moved, and the sword chi of heaven-decimating sword mountain raged, shooting out violently, in addition to the king's domineering aura from the magmatic fruit. Boom, boom. It heavily pierced the demon beast's body, causing 2 bloody holes to appear on its body as it let out a series of painful screams. Light speed sword. Die. In the blink of an eye, the heaven-decimating sword transformed into a bolt of lightning as it swiftly struck out. Long Fei's figure was also crazily jumping and flashing. He couldn't even see clearly. It was as if there were countless Long Fei's in the air. Boom. Long Fei stood behind the demon beast and pierced through it. He retracted his sword and laughed. KO. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Swish, swish, swish. Countless cracks appeared on the demon beast's body. Once Long Fei finished speaking, its entire body quickly split open, and the blood on its head also flowed down in a flash. Violent kill. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing level 9 peak demon beast, for obtaining 80 million EXP, 39,000 holy source points, 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining demon beast. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the demon beast core. The system sounded out a few simple beeps. Long Fei was secretly shocked. Such high experience seems like this is really a good place to level up, and is also a good place for me to cultivate Light Speed Sword. Light Speed Sword was still not fast enough. Up until now, he had yet to reach level 1 in a row. Long Fei was not satisfied. However, Nangong Yen and Yi Jingyun, who were standing to the side, were dumbfounded, and they shouted at the same time, "Abnormal!" Long Fei said, "You two, hurry up and catch up. I'm going to loot everything in this mountain range." Huh. Yi Jingyun stared blankly for a moment, then asked, "Young Master Long, what are you planning to do this time?" Nangong Yen muttered to himself as he watched Long Fei's figure leap away, "I really can't see through you." Rumble! 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 There were beasts roaring in the dense forest. Their footsteps were like thunder, causing the entire mountain range to tremble. The demon beast, We're all going crazy. How did he die? Just who's messing around? The demon beast had fallen into a berserk state. Who exactly is it? Many disciples had stupefied expressions. They didn't know what had happened. Young Master Long, this won't do. If this goes on, I will be scared to death. Yi Jingyun continued to run as he shouted. Young Master Long, you're here. You're here. He really did not understand. However, he didn't need to think about it. When he was with Long Fei, he only needed to do as Long Fei said. In another place, Nangong Yen also shouted loudly and said, it's here, this way, over here. And there is still one more beast question of God. Long Fei, can you bear it? In Long Fei's direction, he had also attracted a large group of demon beast. Half of the mountain range's demon beast had already been attracted by them. Amongst the group of demon beast behind him, there was also an incomparably huge beast question of God, which was abnormally angry. The three of them gathered. Long Fei immediately shouted, all of you retreat. Then, the moment his idea moved, it immediately transformed into a powerful blast that shot out, pulling back the three waves of demon beast's hatred. With a heavy roar, he shouted, come, retreat. How can that be? If you want to go crazy together, die together. We will die together. Yi Jingyun became excited. The heaven-decimating art in Long Fei's hands moved, flames ignited, and he moved as fast as lightning. Then let's go crazy together. Light speed sword. 10,000 swords of thunder. Dozens of crescent-shaped sword chi burst out from the heaven-decimating sword, slashing madly and going all out with all their might. He began to go crazy. Finally, exhausted, Long Fei was still fighting. Huff, huff, huff. Long Fei was satisfied as he roared out in his heart. Satisfying. Bring it on. Red Hair, it's your turn. Chapter 1453, Stealing from Me? Do you think you are worthy of it? Chapter 1453, Stealing from Me? Do you think you are worthy of it? Boom. Red hair, black cloak, a knife in his hand. Buzz. He exuded a domineering aura. A visible ripple shot out, and all the demon beast were stunned for half a second. It was also at this moment a devilish laughter rang out. Ah! With the release of Miss Mo's big move, a burst of bullets caused countless of critical damage. Boom! A large group of figures appeared on the call card and quickly pounced forward. Yi Jingyun was dumbfounded. Are these aliens? All of them are extremely weird. Look at their hair, their eyes, and Gudong, that woman with the gun. Wow. I've never seen such a sexy woman. Yi Jingyun gulped down his saliva. Miss Misfortune's chest. Her perky hips could have killed any man in an instant. Long Fei immediately knocked Yi Jingyun awake. Don't think too much, she's mine. I really want to have something to do with her. However, 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. What can you do? It was really too short. Regarding this, the resentment in Long Fei's heart was just too deep. However, the system was the system. Even if one's resentment was too deep, it would not be able to change it for them. Ding, ding, ding. The sound of system beep continuously echoed. A demon beast was equivalent to several millions of experience points. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Chin Stage level 7. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, 29. The instant of upgrading. A surge of warmth flowed into his heart, and his body felt scorching hot as energy surged within him. Very good. Upgrading is great. I'm already at level 7. Long Fei grinned and laughed excitedly. I'm just 3 levels away from the Great Perfection stage. After the stage, there was no higher level. There were just some rankings. Heaven, earth, and human rankings. However, these 3 boards only had 300 people on it, and with long phase cultivation, it should not be a problem. The tiredness on Long Fei's body was all swept away as his neck emitted a cracking sound. After leveling up, his health point and the value of his spiritual academy had all recovered. He then looked at the surrounding demon beast and grinned. It's my turn again. In the heavenly court, the time for the call Cardas in hell was up. They instantly disappeared and entered the cool-down time. Long Fei stood up. The heaven-decimating orb in his hands dragged the ground as sparks flew in all directions. Once again, he charged into the group of demon beast and roared out, "Kill!" Light speed sword. His figure moved like lightning, sweeping across madly. The valley ahead. I can already feel the aura of the beast question of God. It must be right in front of us. Ha ha ha. If the beast question of God were killed by me, then I would surpass Zhan Wushuang and become the first in history. Ha ha ha. Are you dreaming? Beast question of God are much stronger than you can imagine, and their intelligence is higher than human beings. Do you think you can kill them? Several small teams approached Long Fei. It had not even been 2 hours since they had entered the secret world. If anyone could kill the beast question of God, they would be the first person in history. Zhan Wushuang took 10 hours. Killing it in 2 hours was too terrifying. Boom. The sword of light. Explode. Long Fei's body had several deep wounds that could be seen through to the bone. His entire body was covered in fresh blood as the power of the sun god's authentic artifact exploded out from the heaven-decimating sword. It pierced through the heart of a beast question of God. Boom. The beast question of God's huge body suddenly fell to the ground. At the same time, the other beast question of God threw out a heavy punch, not giving Long Fei any time to flip the sky upside down. Yi Jingyun forced himself to go, "Ah." Boom. Yi Jingyun's body sank and fell down from the sky. This beast question of God was even more ferocious. Its power was even stronger. Yi Jingyun's cultivation could not handle it and directly fainted. Long Fei took out his heaven-decimating sword, staring straight at the beast question of God. His eyes filled with killing intent. "Move against my brother. I will take your life." Shwa. With a flip of his left hand, the pure lotus demon fire moved. "Raise the lotus under your feet." He leapt into the air and slammed his palm down. Boom. With a sweep of his arms, Long Fei took the chance and leaped back into the air. Both of his hands gripped the heaven-decimating sword tightly as he looked down from above and slashed out with the sword, heaven-decimating, slash. The sword aura extended for 100 miles. Flames soared to the sky, crazily burning the void. A destructive stream of power poured down, slashing down heavily along the beast question of God's head. Unparalleled strength. Rumble. The beast question of God's body split into 2. The system also chimed in. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 150 million experience points when killing beast question of God, 50,000 holy source points, and 1 energy values point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining heavenly blood vein. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the heavenly demon core. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining perfect strike sword skill to release and cultivate. The system exploded. Long Fei landed on the ground from midair and panted heavily. The entire valley was filled with the corpses of demon beast, and he had finally dealt with all of them. Huff, huff, huff. Long Fei panted like an ox and muttered, "This beast question of God is really not an ordinary strong one." If not for the heavenly court, the powerhouse on those cards in hell would have consumed most of their HP. Nangongyan was also a little weak as he asked, Long Fei, how are you doing? Long Fei shook his head and said, I'm fine. I'll go look for Yi Jingyun first. Yi Jingyun helped Long Fei defend against the attack. After that punch, Long Fei was afraid that he was already dead. At this moment, a wave of people appeared in the valley, looking at the heads of the two beast question of God. Their eyes glowed with greed. Long Fei immediately stood up, and his lips curled into a cold smile. Nangongyan also realized that the dangerous aura around was getting stronger and stronger. The head of the beast, question of God. In just 2 short hours, he had acquired it. Whoever could obtain it would become the number 1 tower question of God. This temptation was too great. Long Fei said coldly, I will only say this, if you want to steal from me, first consider whether your own weight is sufficient enough or not. I will only give you 1 chance. Stealing the fruits of victory, Long Fei would never be merciful. Moreover, being oppressed by the elders of the Tower Question of God and subjected to all sorts of unfair treatment, Long Fei's stomach had long been engulfed in flames. Now, even these examination disciples want to bully him? Grandma, at this time, a disciple walked out with a sinister sneer on his face and said, Long Fei, you're already like this. What else can you do? Brothers, there is only 1 chance. Whoever can snatch the beast question of God's head will be the number 1 person in the tower question of God. Snatch. Chapter 1454, Semi-God Monster. Chapter 1454, Semi-God Monster wealth comes from danger. Evil arose from the edge of courage. Everyone had their own greed. If someone could obtain the beast question of God's head, they would be the first to leave, and they would definitely cause a huge commotion, and even gain the qualifications to enter the tower question of God. It was because of this round of the examination that the high elders of the tower question of God noticed Zhan Wushuang. To be able to break Zhan Wushuang's record, how powerful must he be? Who doesn't want it? Wasn't coming to the tower question of God to be superior? All of them were peerless geniuses, and none of them were willing to lower themselves to others. Facing the beast question of God's head, no one would let go of this perfect opportunity. Long Fei was heavily injured, Yi Jingyun had fainted, and Nangongyan was extremely weak. At this time, they didn't have to be afraid at all. With an order, 2 groups of people rushed towards Xiang Longfei. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly, his murderous intent rising. I will endure being bullied by the elders, but you guys, you want to bully me? I can't tolerate it. Boom. Instantly, Long Fei's body changed. Bedevilment. Buzz. Immediately turning into a magic body, a demonic god's power exploded out, forming a thunderous pressure. The demonic god's 9 tribulations, sword moved, slashing out continuously. Shwa, shwa, shwa. The demonic shadow was like a ghost as it slashed out continuously with the 9 tribulations sword. Every single sword was instantly killed, and every single one of its strikes was incomparably cruel, not holding back at all. Long Fei was indeed heavily injured. But the magic body is a different body and is not restricted by the real face at all, and once the magic body comes out, that was berserk, berserk, ding, ding. In just 3 seconds, the entire valley had become quiet. Not a single sound could be heard. Even a pin drop could be heard. Long Fei's voice exploded out, roaring towards the sky. Let them come again. He was venting crazily. I'm so unhappy. Nangongyan looked at Long Fei's magic body, and his heart shook. Enchanted? Is there still a demon inside his body? Huff. Long Fei moved back into the real face. Looking at Nangongyan's stupefied face, he said, Bring him out first. I still have things I need to do. take the heads of these two beast question of God with you. This secret world was too dangerous. Moreover, from the very beginning of the first round of examination, there had been people targeting Long Fei at every turn. It was just as those disciples had said. He was the lone star of the heavens. The one who followed him would be the unlucky one. Nangong, Yen wanted to refuse. Long Fei ordered, "Listen to me." Nangong Yen clenched his teeth, nodded, and said, "Be careful." Half an hour later, buzz. The secret world's door suddenly twisted. Nangong Yen supported Yi Jingyun and walked out of the secret world. The surrounding oracle were stunned. A oracle immediately said, "It's not time yet. You're not allowed to come out." You guys, there was only one way to leave the secret world, and that was to use the seal of the beast question of God's head to open the door. Nangong Yen didn't say much and directly took the two beast question of God's heads out from within the space ring and coldly said, "Is that enough?" The expressions of all the oracles changed. Beast question of God. This is impossible. It's only been 3 hours. It's impossible for him to be so fast. None of them believed it. However, the two gigantic beast question of Godheads on the stage were dripping with blood. The blood was still warm. It was clear that they had just killed it. There was no way they were cheating. He had no choice but to believe it. Nangong Yen laughed disdainfully. "What's this? Zhan Wushuang is very powerful. He doesn't even have the qualifications to carry Long Fei's shoes." A ball of fire was also suppressed in Nangong Yan's heart, and he felt injustice for Long Fei. Zhan Wushuang is very powerful. 10 hours to complete the beast question of God hunting mission. Long Fei had only used 2 hours, and it was to kill 2 of them. Those oracles were shocked, speechless. A oracle quickly ran out. Zhao Kong was in his room studying the sword techniques that he had just received. Just as he was thinking about it, an oracle suddenly ran in. His face immediately changed, his eyes sinister as he shouted, "You're courting death." That oracle's face sank, and he said, "Sir, someone broke through to secret world." Zhao Kong's eyes moved. His pupils constricted as he asked, "Who?" For some reason, Long Fei's figure suddenly appeared in his mind. Oracle answered, "It's Nangong Yen and Yi Jingyun." Zhao Kong's heart relaxed, and he said, "Long Fei still hasn't come out?" He did not care about anyone else. He only cared about Long Fei. His arrangement this time could be said to be watertight and was specifically aimed at Long Fei. Oracle answered, "No, but Nangong Yen said something strange." "What do you mean?" The boulder in Zhao Kong's heart fell. He was no longer worried. He was fine as long as Long Fei had not come out. Oracle answered, "She said that Zhan Wushuang is not even qualified to carry Long Fei's shoes. I think those two beast question of God were both killed by Long Fei." Zhao Kong's expression changed, and he immediately said, "Follow me to take a look." He walked to the martial arts arena. Zhao Kong carefully examined the two beast question of God, then looked at Nangong Yen and Yi Jingyun and said slightly, "Are these demon beasts that you two have hunted yourselves?" His expression was very indifferent. It was very calm. Because these two beast question of God were the lowest level of beast question of God, the beast question of God he arranged for them was a beast king question of God, and its strength was several times stronger than this kind of low-level beast question of God. Nangong Yen asked, "Am I that important to hunt on my own? I brought it out anyway." "Humph," Zhao Kong coldly snorted and said, "The results of the two of you are provisional. I will report this to the elders before I make my decision." Zhan Wushuang was a precious pimple in the elders' hearts. If his results were to be broken, many people would not be happy, so he definitely would not let anyone break Zhan Wushuang's record. Nangong Yen did not know what Zhao Kong was thinking in his heart. In the secret world, Long Fei walked as fast as he could. He needed experience. He needed the attacks of various powerful demon beasts to temper his body, and he needed to become stronger. The reason why he did not bring the beast question of God's head out was because this was a super instance dungeon. Shwa, whoosh whoosh, Long Fei walked into the depths of the forest. Suddenly, the Sleeping Beauty stretched her back and said, "I slept so comfortably. He. Master, do you miss me?" Long Fei was just about to speak. The Sleeping Beauty's expression changed slightly. "Where is this?" "Huh. It's very strange to have a demon beast here. Master, it's so close." In addition, it instantly went into a state of rage. "Does it have a grudge with you?" The Sleeping Beauty asked curiously. Semi-realistic realms demon beast. Infuriated in an instant, Long Fei muttered. When the idea moved, he could not feel the existence of the demon beast at all. This fellow was far more powerful than they had imagined. It was completely outside the range of his senses. Long Fei's expression changed and said, "How close is it to me?" The Sleeping Beauty paused for half a second, then said, "Well, right behind you." Long Fei turned around. With a slight glance, he could see that the sunlight above his head had been blocked out. A huge black shadow shrouded him, and the depths of his eyes shone with a golden radiance. His entire body was filled with a faint aura of a divine spark. Semi-god monster. Super boss. Chapter 1455 is very strong, very big. I like it. Chapter 1455 is very strong, very big. I like it. Sleeping Beauty was a very special existence. Every time she woke up, she would have to deal with something. The reason he woke up this time was because she could smell the faint aura of a divine spark. Semi-god monster. Only she woke up a little slowly. When she said those words, it covered the sky and the sun. An incomparably huge demon beast body suddenly stood up and stared blankly at Long Fei, who was like an ant on the ground. His eyes were filled with disdain. At the same time, it was still in a berserk state, and the aura emitted from its entire body was even more intense, as if it wanted to pinch Long Fei until he exploded. "Damn!" Long Fei looked up, and his body involuntarily trembled. Not afraid. He was excited. Long Fei muttered, "How big the F*CK is this demon beast?" So excited. The demon beast's body was like a mountain. Its appearance was like a giant Buddha. All of its fur were like needles, and its aura was extremely wild, making it hard to approach. If Long Fei did not have the Azura body and the Yang God's authentic artifacts power aura, he would not be able to withstand the pressure from this beast king question of God. In an instant, Long Fei thought crazily, "I have to think of a way to kill it. Explode it." The Sleeping Beauty was stunned for a moment before she said, lightly, "I feel like you are not blowing it up, but running away." Long Fei said, "Escape? Why, aren't you omnipotent? You just have to come out and take it out. Why do you have to run away?" The Sleeping Beauty did not speak. Long Fei said, "What method do you have? Hurry up and say it, I can't wait." He really wanted to instantly say that he had overturned the beast king question of God in front of him. The feeling of it staring at him like that was extremely unpleasant. The Sleeping Beauty said, "Master, I said it already." Long Fei asked, "What method did you say? How come I didn't know?" The Sleeping Beauty said, "Run." "Huh." Long Fei was shocked and said, "This is your way?" The Sleeping Beauty said, "That's right. If you don't run now, you won't have a chance to run. You can't even take on the semi-god monster. As for me, who can do anything, I'm not a match for them either." Long Fei. He wanted the Sleeping Beauty to explode once more, but sigh. When a woman reaches a critical moment, she becomes unreliable. Escape. Long Fei coldly snorted. This is not my Long Fei's style. And then, with a move of the holy source in his mind, the heaven-decimating sword began to burn. With a step forward, he leapt into the air at an incredible speed and roared, escaping? Long Fei, do not have this word in my dictionary. The sword chopped down. Bo! A crisp sound rang out. It wasn't loud, like the sound of a soap bubble bursting. The heaven-decimating sword in Long Fei's hands, combined with the light-speed sword, was extremely powerful. However, when it struck the body of a beast king question of God, even the defensive air shield on his body could not break it. In other words, before even touching the hairs on his body, it was already blocked by the air shield formed from a strong invisible force. And in just that slight moment, Long Fei's attack was completely crushed. The attack was just like a fart. The demon beast was so strong that it made people's hair stand. Long Fei looked extremely confused and muttered, "Little sister, where are you escaping to?" They weren't even on the same level. It couldn't be shaken at all. It was too difficult. When the sword slashed down, although it was not Long Fei's strongest point of strength, even if it was his strongest point of strength, it would still not be able to break through his defense. The Sleeping Beauty quipped, "Didn't you not mention the word escape in your dictionary?" Long Fei. The Sleeping Beauty said, "Flee deeper into the forest. This fellow still has half of his rage left. During this period of time, you have no chance at all. You must avoid him." So that's how it is. Like I said, you, an all-powerful girl, must have an idea. Long Fei heaved a sigh of relief. The Sleeping Beauty said, "Because you just wasted half a minute and you attacked it, it became even angrier. Now, it's going to attack. It's going to attack. Quickly, quickly, quickly run." As he spoke, it was as if he was also running away from Long Fei's space ring. The air suddenly twitched. The air seemed to explode and dissipate. The beast king question of God extended both of its arms into the air, hugging and furious. Then it chopped down heavily. Just 2 arms alone was a kilometer long. How big was this gigantic beast's body? Crack! 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 Layers after layers of space was destroyed, heavily smashing at Long Fei, releasing all of his strength, as if Long Fei was his arch enemy. Holy **T. Is there a need for this? Long Fei's gaze tensed up, seeing the black mass of a heavenly meteor falling from the sky. Long Fei's chrysanthemum tightened, and without caring about anything else, she ran out of the room like a madman. Too strong, too powerful. I like it, ha ha ha. Long Fei ran and was excited at the same time. Rumble! When the beast king question of God attack landed, the entire mountain range trembled like a huge earthquake. The mountain landslide, and the earth split open as countless of demon beasts crawled on the ground from the shock, not daring to even move an inch. However, and because of this, it gave those disciples a chance to take the exam. Kill. It's not moving. Seize the chance. Everyone attack. Ha ha ha. A good chance. This vibration came at just the right time. Don't worry about it too much. Let's finish off this beast question of God first. Outside the secret world's mouth trembled and twisted as if he could not take it anymore. Zhao Kong's eyes flashed as he laughed coldly. It's starting. Ha ha. The semi-god beast king question of God is about to attack. Kid, let's see where you can run to this time. Secret world was dead. It was not particularly large. Moreover, as long as you do not have the beast question of God's skull mark, you will not be able to open the secret world's exit and can only wait for death inside. This move, vicious and ruthless, Zhao Kong was extremely pleased in his heart. Semi-god monster, Even the second elder, that kind of superpower house, is not his match. He's a giant beast that the Tower Question of God nurtured for 3,000 years. It's your honor to die by its hands. Ha! Long Fei, the situation must be very intense. The gigantic beast will definitely rip you apart, right? This scene really makes one excited. All sorts of scenes appeared in Zhao Kong's mind, all of them depicting how Long Fei's body had been torn apart by the Beast King Question of God. Recalling the promise Kai Tianen gave him, the smile on Zhao Kong's face became even more pleased and excited. Tomorrow, my position will be promoted another level. Ha ha ha. At this moment, inside the secret world, can you slow down a bit? Brother, big brother, give me a chance. Long Fei continued to run wildly. Chapter 1456. Bullshit urine for 10 hours. Chapter 1456. Bullshit urine for 10 hours. It was like Ultraman beating up a little monster. But Long Fei was that pitiful little monster, while the Beast King Question of God was the furious Ultraman. Long Fei did not have the power to fight back. He could only running. He was very unhappy, but he could not do anything about it. Rumble. The scene was like the end of the world. It was unstoppable, and no one could resist this Beast King Question of God. In this entire secret world, he was the absolute king, the ruler. How much longer? Long Fei sweated profusely and had to use all his strength to dodge the attack a few times. If this went on, he would really be unhappy, and this was the first time he was being crushed like this by a demon beast. Under normal circumstances, he would have been the one to crush the demon beast. The Sleeping Beauty yawned and said, "There are still a few more hours left." Huh. Hours? Then how many hours do I have to run? Long Fei was startled. It was too uncomfortable. The Sleeping Beauty giggled and said, "Master, you can also stop running." Long Fei trembled and said, "Is that possible?" The Sleeping Beauty said, "Of course you can, but you will be beaten into meat paste." Long Fei, can we still play happily now? If the Golden Cudgel's power was not applied to him, escaping was Long Fei's only option. He would only have a slim chance of survival if he used up the Beast King Question of God's raging energy. I'll escape. I'll run with all my might. Long Fei did not want to use the power of the Golden Cudgel. This was his life-saving talisman. Moreover, he wanted to use the energy from the Golden Cudgel to deal with Zhan Wushuang and use it to ruthlessly crush him. If it was at full power, would it be able to crush Zhan Wushuang? This was the power that was left to him. Thinking about what had happened in this period of time, Long Fei felt extremely unhappy in his heart. Rumble. The secret world was in a complete mess. The huge mountain range was blasted into a flat land, like a missile exploding wildly, completely unable to defend itself. That power, unparalleled in strength. A fist struck down. The ground cracked and rubble flew everywhere. Half of Long Fei's, but was almost sliced off. The chrysanthemum retracted, cursing out loud. "Your sister, is your father's chrysanthemum so fragrant?" The Sleeping Beauty giggled and said, we're about to catch up. Master, quickly run. Master, quickly run." He didn't seem nervous at all, just like a little girl. Long Fei was speechless. He screamed with all his might, "Ah!" The Sleeping Beauty seemed to have found a few flowers from nowhere and held them in her hands like a team. "Go, Master, go. Go, Master. Go, Master. Run, Master." Long Fei wanted to die. "Fire Unicorn, come out." "Boss, I just came out not too long ago. I haven't recovered yet. Let me rest a bit more." The Fire Unicorn's body curled into a ball. He had gone out when he killed those demon beasts. However, he was Long Fei's mount. How could he dare to disobey Long Fei's orders? Without waiting for Long Fei to speak, the Ice Thunderbird realized, "Boss, I also need to rest. Just now, I used the greatest amount of strength against that beast question of God. I was too tired." The Fire Unicorn said, "If I hadn't tied it up, what kind of power could you have possibly used?" The Ice Thunderbird said, "Brother Cheelin, what you said is not right. Do Ice and Lightning still need your help?" The Fire Unicorn said, "So what if you have twin elements of ice and lightning? I possess the Fire Cheelin's sacred blood, so the power of my Cheelin arm can sweep through everything." The Ice Thunderbird said, "If you want to come, come. Do I have to be afraid of you?" The two war beasts were about to start their battle. Long Fei was immediately speechless. "All right, I'll run by myself." Then, Long Fei's idea withdrew. At this moment, the Ice Thunderbird and the Fire Unicorn looked at each other and laughed. They clapped and revealed a victorious smile. It was as if his evil scheme had succeeded. "Big Brother Cheelin, isn't this kind of thing for us to do bad?" "Boss, it's a bit too much to handle." The Ice Thunderbird muttered. The Fire Unicorn laughed. "It's all right. Who's the boss? I've followed him for so long, but I haven't seen any dangers that could threaten him. And even if we were to leave with our speed, it would still be useless." The Fire Unicorn said, "It wasn't because they were afraid. Rather, their speed was slower than Long Fei's. If he went out, it would only create unnecessary trouble for Long Fei. Boss, you can do it. Boss, you have to hold on." "Ah." Long Fei started to run like a madman. He roared in his heart, "Don't give me the chance. Otherwise, I will make you taste the feeling of being chased." He was frantically fleeing. An hour had passed, and Long Fei had practically circled the entire secret world once. The secret world that looked like a primal forest was now in ruins. It was just like the scene when a giant meteor crashed into it. "Look, it's Long Fei. Ha ha ha. I've been chased to the point that I'm pissed my pants. What bad luck this is. He deserves it. Who told you to offend an elder? He wouldn't be able to take a small action. He doesn't seem to have killed any beast question of God yet. To be hunted by such a powerful beast question of God. Can he even kill beast question of God? It looks like he's going to stop here. Everyone's beast question of God is already in our hands. Let's hurry up and leave. Don't waste time with this trash. He will definitely fail and die here." Only because a lot of people had been suppressed by the Beast King question of God's crazy attacks did they have the chance to kill it. Otherwise, it would be impossible for them to kill the Beast question of God in such a short amount of time. However, no one thanked Long Fei. Even if Long Fei had saved them from ice and snow plane, no one would come out to help him now, when he faced danger. The wall was pushed by everyone. No one was willing to help someone who had offended an elder. Moreover, this was the chaos realm. This was reality. Help Long Fei. A cramp had appeared on his head. Long Fei, accompany it and play. Let's go. In any case, your results are still at the bottom, so it's reasonable that you're at the bottom this time. No one will make fun of you. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Everyone laughed. Then, one by one, they left the secret world. 2 hours later, Long Fei was the only one left in the entire secret world. The Beast King question of God was still crazily chasing after Long Fei. Another 2 hours passed. The aura on the Beast King question of God suddenly weakened a lot as the Berserk aura disappeared. He raged for nearly 10 hours. Long Fei muttered, "How long more do we have to wait?" His legs were about to break. The Sleeping Beauty said lightly, "It's about time." Didn't you comprehend the fitted soul technique? Table of contents. Table of contents. There was nothing he couldn't do. She even knew what Long Fei had dropped like the back of her hand. 9 dragon coffin. The person lying in the bronze coffin. If Long Fei had not seen it with his own eyes, he would have suspected that she was a real person. How did he know that he had used Zhan Hongtu's divine arts, the body fusion? Long Fei exclaimed and said, "Yes, yes, what's wrong?" Long Fei was extremely shocked in his heart. The Sleeping Beauty was giving him an increasingly mysterious feeling. He was simply an omniscient existence. That absolute zero secret world. What kind of existence was he exactly? Ancient god? Can't do anything? Long Fei didn't have that much time to think about this right now. He could only think of one thing, which was to blow the semi-god monster in front of him away. Long Fei anxiously asked, "Should I use the body fusion to kill him?" The Sleeping Beauty said, "No, use your body fusion to conquer it." "What do you mean?" Long Fei was a little confused. Why did he conquer a demon beast? He did not have any special hobbies, and from the looks of it, the demon beast was also male, working with demon beastess. F***CKME. The chrysanthemum was about to be crushed. When he thought about that scene, Long Fei felt a wave of nausea. The scene was too childish. The Sleeping Beauty rolled her eyes, stared at Long Fei, and said, "Smelly master, what are you thinking about? I wanted you to use the fitted soul to absorb it. Then you too will establish a relationship." Long Fei asked, "Establish a relationship? Basics? Then you might as well kill me." The Sleeping Beauty rolled her eyes again and said, "Don't you know the cultivation method of your fitted soul? You need to absorb a war beast. And this beast king question of God is the best war beast. A semi-realistic realm's war beast. As long as you absorb its power, it will be equivalent to you possessing the power of the semi-realistic realm. However, you must establish a trusting relationship with him. Otherwise, you won't be able to fully absorb its power with its personality." Long Fei listened intently and suddenly realized something and said, "You should have explained it clearly earlier. You scared my heart out of me. I thought you wanted me to sacrifice myself." The Sleeping Beauty was speechless. Long Fei actually laughed out loud and said, "I was just teasing you." He already knew what the Sleeping Beauty wanted him to do when she told him to use the fitted soul. Seeing the Sleeping Beauty's speechless expression, Long Fei laughed. The Sleeping Beauty said angrily, "Master, you're really bad. Too bad. Humph." Long Fei said, I was joking. I just needed to adjust the tense atmosphere. I ran for close to 10 hours, and I'm about to fall flat on the ground due to exhaustion. Moreover, you said a few hours at the beginning. How many hours would 10 hours be?" Really tired. It was even more tiring than fighting for 3 days and 3 nights. I never thought I'd be able to run that long. Long Fei was tired. That Beast King question of God was also exhausted. After 10 whole hours of rage, it could be said that it had exhausted all of its energy. This was also when his defense was at its weakest. Whether it was the sea of consciousness, the mind, or other things, they were all at their weakest, taking advantage of the situation to enter. This was the Sleeping Beauty's plan. She had let Long Fei escape from the beginning for this. The Sleeping Beauty said, "Take advantage of his weakness and take his life. Right now, his strength is less than 10% of his original strength. However, you still have to be careful." Long Fei said, "His strength is not even 1/10 of his original strength. I think I am about the same." He was very tired. He was panting like an ox, but Long Fei did not stop to rest. He knew that this was his only chance. If he did not grab hold of it, it would be a waste of his 10 hours of running. It would be a waste if he didn't conquer it after 10 hours of pissing. Huff! Long Fei heaved a sigh of relief and said solemnly, even after chasing me for 10 hours, you still could not kill me. I do not know what kind of enmity I have with you. However, I'll give you one more chance. Obediently submit to me. Remember, you only have one chance, Sleeping Beauty said. Master, this won't do. The Beast King question of God definitely won't lower its head to any human. Even the person who created it will not submit. Every demon beast had their own unique characteristics, especially a demon beast of the semi-god level with frightening intelligence. It would definitely not submit to humans. Roar. Without waiting for Long Fei to finish, he punched down with his fist. Even though his power was not as strong as it was in the beginning, it was still sharp, as if it could shatter the air. Long Fei's gaze turned cold as he said, "Is this your choice? Are you unconvinced? I'll beat you until you submit." Without using the heaven-decimating sword, with a move of his fists, the magmatic fruit's power burst forth. Facing the Beast King question of God's fist, Long Fei shouted in his heart, "Azura battle body." Boom! A thick wave of energy superimposed onto Long Fei's body. The two fists collided. Rumble! Long Fei's fist was not small. The magma in the air ruptured, and both fists collided. Long Fei's body was flung out. Boom, boom, boom. As his body flew out 1,000 meters in a straight line, the Beast King question of God's body slightly trembled and didn't receive any substantial injuries. His face also revealed a cold and disdainful smile. "You want me to submit? A weak human like you? Are you even worthy? Even if it is the person who created me, I will still not accept it. Do you think you're my match if you consume my energy?" "Brat, you're thinking too much." It was extremely disdainful. 1,000 meters away, a voice could be heard. "Wishful thinking, right? Then let's see if it's wishful thinking." Boom! A flash of fire. Long Fei flew out in a straight line without any fancy tricks, and still smashed out with his fist heavily. The Beast King question of God was very disdainful, saying, "I already said, your strength is too weak. It's useless against me." He was sent flying again. This time, the Beast King question of God's body slightly retreated half a step. He was forced half a step back from the previous trembling. Long Fei was sent flying just like before. However, in that moment, Long Fei attacked again and shouted loudly, "It's not even the slightest of use." Boom! Another violent punch. Boom! Another punch. Boom! 100 punches. 1,000 punches. 10,000 punches. The more he fought, the more shocked the Beast King question of God would become. Was clearly more exhausted than he was, and even more severely injured than he was, but the power that he exploded out was actually more and more powerful. Why? This was Long Fei. You can refuse to accept it. I'll beat you until you submit. Chapter 1458. Bro, I submit. Chapter 1458. Bro, I submit. When he went crazy, Long Fei never treated himself as a human being. For a semi-god monster as powerful as the Beast King question of God that had exploded, ordinary methods would definitely not be able to subdue it. If he wanted to make the semi-god monster cultivate the fitted soul by itself, then he would have to use inhuman means. Unconvinced, beat him until he submitted, not only in terms of strength, but it was also a psychological shock, a crushing pressure. Boom! Another fist attack struck, forcing Long Fei to retreat, shaking the Beast King question of God to retreat as well. Long Fei roared out, "Are you convinced?" Without waiting for the Beast King question of God to speak, Long Fei raised his fist that was the size of a clay pot and struck it out once again. Boom! "I'm asking you, are you convinced or not?" He didn't speak again. Another punch to the head. Every time he attacked, he would go all out. Every time he went all out, the Beast King question of God felt a chill in its heart. Is this guy even human? He's simply a madman. He had seen many people in the powerhouse, and he had also seen stronger people, but he had never encountered such a madman before. To go crazy was too terrifying. He wasn't convinced by Long Fei's power, but his heart was moved by Long Fei's crazy, desperate state of mind. However, these things alone were not enough to conquer him. Brat, come again. Let's see how long you can hold on. He was the demon beast of the semi-realistic realm, and the rudiment of a divine spark already existed in his sea of consciousness. If he wanted to compete with other divine beasts, he was the real divine beast. His strength, body, and defense were countless times stronger than other divine beastess. Long Fei roared, "Then give me another 10,000 fists." Boom. Long Fei did not speak anymore. Both his fists moved as he crazily struck out with an explosive force. Flames filled the sky, and after a short while he said, bang, 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 bang. The Beast King question of God's arm also continued to retaliate. It seemed as if even space itself would not be able to withstand it. At the martial arts practice grounds, all of the disciples that had come to take the test had come out. Everyone looked at the secret world's exit. The fierce rumbling sounds in the secret world continued for almost an hour. Even outside of the secret world, they could feel the strong impact of the energy. The shock to the soul was enormous. The strength released by the Beast King question of God is too strong. Long Fei is no longer able to be saved. He must have died inside. Ha ha ha. That's good too. Without him, we won't have too much trouble. He's definitely going to lose this time. The crowd burst into discussion. A Tong Tian divine beast was an incredibly strong existence that they could not deal with, let alone a Beast King question of God. Long Fei definitely could not survive. Zhao Kong was also facing the prideful smile, and was secretly delighted in his heart. Long Fei, you're not going to die this time. Nangong Yen and the awakened Yi Jingyun's face were filled with worry. What was happening in Secret World right now? Their hearts rose to their throats. At this time, one of the disciples said, "Elder, there is only an hour left. I see that Long Fei will not be able to come out, so why don't we close the exit of the secret world and not waste our time because of him?" Yi Jingyun immediately jumped out and scolded, "What are you saying? Feng Tian, if it wasn't for Long Fei slicing through the void, how could you come out of ice and snow plane? When you almost froze to death in there, did you forget?" Feng Tian's expression slightly changed and said, "Yi Jingyun, I am only discussing the matter on the spot. No matter how powerful he is, it's impossible for him, Long Fei, to escape from the Beast King question of God. Even if he escaped, he wouldn't be able to escape. He hasn't killed a single beast question of God up till now, so he'll still die inside. I will still fail. If I fail, I might as well die inside. Otherwise, I might just come out and embarrass myself." Not waiting for him to finish, Yi Jingyun had already pounced on him, threw out a punch, and shouted, "You ungrateful bastard! I should have let you die in ice and snow plane back then." Feng Tian was caught off guard and threw a punch straight into his face. He was smashed to the ground. With an ugly expression, rage raged on his face. His fists moved, and he directly struck out with full force. The few lackeys beside him also took action at the same time, attacking Yi Jingyun. Nangong Yen moved and blocked Yi Jingyun's way. "Hit him. Do you want to harm Lousy? Yi Jingyun, I'll cripple you today." Feng Tian shouted, and 4 or 5 people attacked at the same time. Yi Jingyun and Nangong Yen were already injured and incredibly weak. How could they possibly defend against the 5 of them attacking at the same time? After a few rounds, it became very dangerous. Seeing that Zhao Kong did not stop them, Nangong Yan's eyes turned sinister. With a move of his right hand, he took out the divine sword that Long Fei gave him. It was also at this moment Zhao Kong shouted coldly, "Stop!" Yi Jingyun could not accept it, and said, "Is it too late to stop?" The instant he grabbed Feng Tian, who was pushed back, he punched him again, causing Feng Tian to lie flat on the ground. Zhao Kong was enraged and shouted, "Didn't you hear what I said?" An imposing aura burst out from his body and directly crushed Yi Jingyun, making him kneel on the ground. He then shouted, attacking and injuring others, "Your test results are ineffective, 0. Nangong Yen protested, "Why should I?" Zhao Kong stared at Nangong Yen and said coldly, "And you dare go against an elder? Your score is also 0 this time." Perfect. If he canceled their results, then the higher-ups would not know that they had hunted down the beast question of God in less than 3 hours. That was why he did not break Zhan Wushuang's record. Zhan Wushuang would not be affected. Yi Jingyun laughed out loud. "Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. It's so funny, so funny. I never thought that the strongest power in the Chaos Realm would be the Tower Question of God S. Such a sinister and despicable place. This kind of place is even worse than dog shit. Not waiting for him to finish." Zhao Kong became angry. The pressure on his body became even stronger, and shouted with both of his eyes, "How can the Tower Question of God let you sully it?" Buzz. Boom. An explosive sound of pressure exploded, exploding onto Yi Jingyun's body. Yi Jingyun could not take it anymore and spat out a mouthful of blood. Feng Tian laughed proudly. "Yi Jingyun, continue to be arrogant." Yi Jingyun could not accept it, but Nangong Yen did her best to stop him. If this continued, Zhao Kong would kill him, and more importantly, Zhao Kong would definitely be fine. Zhao Kong stared at Yi Jingyun and said, "My orders are orders. I sentence you to 0 points. You must obey, otherwise." "Humph, don't blame me for being impolite." He crushed them with brute force. "You are not allowed to resist at all. Inside the secret world. Are you convinced?" Long Fei now was no longer fighting, but was riding on top of the Beast King question of God's head and violently beating it up. He said, "This old man only asks you one question. Are you convinced?" The Beast King question of God was rendered incapable of taking care of itself. Moreover, he was also completely convinced by Long Fei and panted heavily, saying, "I submit." Chapter 1459, you're sure? Chapter 1459, you're sure? He was almost blown away. The Beast King question of God really had no choice. After a few hours of intense clash, even though he did not kill Long Fei, he was still mostly injured. Moreover, he truly admired Long Fei. From the bottom of his heart, he admired the fact that this person's cultivation was not strong, but he was still able to unleash such a powerful force. He was truly extraordinary. I'm convinced. That should be fine, right? The Beast King question of God said, "Huff." Long Fei exhaled a long breath. Every inch of his body was wounded, and fresh blood dripped down, as if he had crawled up from a pool of blood. Long Fei said in his heart, "Girl, this is my method. This is my Tao." The Sleeping Beauty was dumbstruck. It was the first time she had been shocked. He was shocked for Long Fei. She had other ways to make the Beast King question of God submit, but her way might not be able to make him admire her, and it would not be 100% of making him submit to Long Fei. But Long Fei did it. He had done it with his Tao. The Sleeping Beauty was silent for a moment. Then it giggled and said, "Master, so mighty and domineering, so powerful that even lightning strikes to the sky." Hee hee. While they were talking, There were tears in her eyes. She knew better than anyone how hard Long Fei was trying. It could be said that not even the superpower house on the Heavenly Emperor board could withstand the intense battle for 3 to 4 hours. Long Fei had won. This was his Tao. Even if you want to fight me head-on, I'll still overturn you. Long Fei did not see the tears in the Sleeping Beauty's eyes. He stared at the Beast King question of God and said, "If you submit, then become my war pet now." Be your war pet. The Beast King question of God was startled. Long Fei immediately shouted, "What? Can't you?" He raised his sleeves and clenched his fists. As long as the Beast King question of God dared to say half a word of no, he would immediately punch it out. The Beast King question of God was truly afraid of Long Fei now, and said, all right, what you say is what it is it not enough?" "Right. Be my war pet. You have something special about you. I want to use you to cultivate a kind of technique." Long Fei did not hide anything and directly said it. The reason he wanted the Beast King question of God was so that he could cultivate the fitted soul, the kind of power that instantly absorbed Beast King question of God's semi-realistic realm. This was what he wanted. The Beast King question of God's eyes widened in shock and said, "To become your war pet, I still need to give you cultivation techniques." "You, can't I?" Long Fei bellowed, his fists clenched tightly as his joints cracked. The Beast King question of God immediately stopped and said, Okay, whatever you say is fine. I just hope that you don't fight anymore. If you continue fighting, I'm really going to die. Too tired." Long Fei was satisfied. "That's more like it." And then Long Fei slightly said, "Then do as I say." The Beast King question of God nodded and said, "Brother, whatever you say, I admire you." The idea connected. Long Fei released the power of the fitted soul. Next, the sea of consciousness of the Beast King question of God shook suddenly. Its expression was one of shock. This kind of cultivation technique. Divine abilities? So powerful. Beast King question of God was secretly shocked. One man, one beast's idea established a trusting relationship, just like when they signed a contract. Once Long Fei signed it, they would be able to control the Beast King question of God. It could absorb all the energy in his body. In other words, the current Long Fei had the power of semi-realistic realm, the entire strength of Beast King question of God. After doing all this, Long Fei heaved a sigh of relief and fell on his butt. His heart relaxed as though he was going to collapse. "I almost died here." The Beast King question of God said, "Boss, you can really take it head on." Long Fei said, "It's not easy, brother." The Beast King question of God said, "What if I still don't agree?" Long Fei did not hide anything and said, "If you do not agree, then I'm afraid you are already dead." Long Fei's eyes revealed a sharp look. Long Fei's own strength may not be enough to kill the Beast King question of God, but he still had a hidden trump card that he had not used. If he was truly on the verge of death, Long Fei would also go all out and use the power of the 60 level of Golden Cudgel. However, at that time, the Beast King question of God would probably be insta-killed. The energy of the main artifact on the 60th floor? What could it be? Zhan Wushuang, can you still hold on? Long Fei was a little excited when he thought of the power of the Golden Cudgel's 60th floor. This staff could definitely turn over a large number of people. And then he summoned the healing spring out. Long Fei said slightly, "Rest for a bit and recover." The healing spring quickly healed the wounds on Long Fei's and the Beast King question of God's body. 24 hours are up." Feng Tian seemed to be more enthusiastic than anyone else as he immediately said to Zhao Kong, "Elder, you can seal the entrance of the secret world now and summon all the people inside." Yi Jingyun looked at the exit of the secret world and thought to himself, "Boss, you didn't finish the exam?" If it wasn't completed, if he scored 0 3 times, he would lose his qualification to take the exam. At the same time, Yi Jingyun was determined that even if Long Fei failed, he would not stay. He was already disappointed in the tower question of God. Zhao Kong slightly smiled and said, "Not bad, it's time." According to what I said before, disciples who have not completed the examination within 24 hours will not pass. If you don't pass, you get 0 points. Zhao Kong was secretly pleased with himself in his heart. Ever since the violent tremors in the secret world had disappeared, he was certain that Long Fei had already been turned into mincemeat. There was no longer any possibility of him surviving. He was very sharp in this matter. They would definitely receive Kai Tiannan's rewards. And then, Zhao Kong ordered, "Close secret world." "Long Fei, you lost." Ha ha ha. In his heart, he was extremely pleased with himself. Feng Tian also stared at Yi Jingyun and said, "Yi Jingyun, your master will never come out. Ha ha ha." Even if he comes out, he would be kicked out of the tower question of God. He's destined to be someone who doesn't belong to the same world as me, so when I pass the examination and become a member of the tower question of God, he'll be an ant in my eyes. Ha! Many people laughed proudly, just as the secret world was about to close. Boom! A figure flashed past. A man rushed out, his body covered in blood. He let out a long breath and said, "I finally dared to come back. I was almost too late." The person who rushed out was no other than Long Fei. Zhao Kong's eyes turned sinister. His expression immediately changed, and he asked, "Long Fei?" Feng Tian's expression also changed greatly. Yi Jingyun and Nangong Yen were overjoyed and became excited. Long Fei looked at the astonishment and anger in Zhao Kong's eyes and could not help but sneer. "I'm out. Are you very disappointed?" Zhao Kong shouted and said, "Long Fei, take out the beast question of God's head and take a look." The other disciples did not take them out because if they wanted to take out the two-beast question of God's heads, they could only use the marks on the heads of the beast question of God. No special inspection is required. This Zhao Kong was obviously making things difficult for Long Fei. Long Fei grinned and smiled. "Are you sure?" Chapter 1460 is overbearing. Chapter 1460 is overbearing. Are you sure? Long Fei looked at Zhao Kong and asked playfully. When Long Fei came out was exactly at the node that was sealed within the secret world. In other words, it was very likely that Long Fei had been automatically teleported back because of the secret world's 24 hours limit. You know, in order to protect the exam disciples, once the time was up, they would be teleported back. It was very likely that he had been teleported out of the secret world at this time, and not from a beast question of God. Moreover, most importantly, the beast king question of God would definitely not let Long Fei out alive. The violent tremors just now, the rumbling sounds, even secret world could not withstand it. He did not believe that Long Fei could endure it. Combining all of these, Zhao Kong sneered and said, "I'm very sure, Long Fei, you can't possibly not be able to take it out, right?" Long Fei said, "Why not bet on something? You don't have to bet your life on it. Do you dare?" Zhao Kong's face darkened. He shouted, "Long Fei, I am the examiner. You have to do whatever I tell you to. If you dare to cause any trouble, be careful. I will disqualify you." Long Fei laughed. "Do you dare or don't you dare?" "Very tough," Feng Tian shouted, and said, "Elder, bet with him. He must have been teleported back by the secret world." "Exactly. Otherwise, why would he appear on the node?" "That must be it." Many people started to loudly shout. Long Fei's eyes swept across them and said, "You guys want to gamble your lives as well?" "Together." Feng Tian sneered. Long Fei, how valuable do you think your life is? Using your life to bet on the lives of all of us. You really think highly of yourself. Who do you think you are? TCH. Long Fei shot a glance at Feng Tian and said, to be honest, I really look down on your life. His gaze shifted. Since they were too lazy to explain themselves to Feng Tian, none of them took it seriously. They stared at Zhao Kong and said, Examiner, do you dare? A life wager? At the beginning, there was also an elder wagering his life with Long Fei. However, he was dead. Zhao Kong looked at Long Fei's calm expression, and his heart trembled slightly. He shouted, Long Fei, I'm ordering you to hand over the beast question of God. If not, you'll be awarded a 0 in this exam and a 0 in 3 times. You just wait to get out of the examination hall. Zhao Kong did not want to take the risk. Rub, Long Fei contemptuously said, truly boring. Since you want to look, then you better watch carefully with me. His heart stirred as he asked solemnly, Beast King question of God, how is your recovery going? The Beast King question of God responded slightly, I should have recovered half of my body by now. Do you have any instructions, boss? Long Fei said, I really don't like Zhao Kong. Beast King question of God's IQ was astonishing, and she immediately said, Understood. Then, Long Fei grinned, Watch carefully. Beast King question of God, come out. Rumble. After a furious roar, an explosive sound resounded in the air. The shadow in the sky covered the entire martial arts practice grounds. Everyone was shocked. He raised his head and looked over. What is that black shadow? What's that? It's getting closer and closer. It seemed to be a demon beast. This aura, the aura of a beast question of God. Aren't all beast question of God in the secret world? Why did they come out? Run. They were very clear about the strength of a beast question of God. If they were to sit on this, but if they were to be pressed down, they would instantly become a pile of meat paste. There was no way for them to survive. The surrounding oracle were also shocked as they started to run. Long Fei giggled and looked at Zhao Kong. Elder, did you see it clearly? Zhao Kong also raised his head to look at the sky. He did not dodge because he was together with Long Fei, so he wasn't worried. However, when he sensed the incomparably tyrannical qi in the sky, his expression suddenly changed, and he said solemnly, Beast King question of God. He was very clear on this aura. The Beast King question of God was actually in the secret world under his arrangements, and it was also he who caused Long Fei's aura to cause the Beast King question of God to fly into a rage. It could be said that he was very familiar with the Beast King question of God. At this time, his mind was trembling slightly. His lips were trembling as he said, No, impossible, absolutely impossible. Rumble. In that instant, the Beast King question of God sat down on its butt, and half of the gigantic stage instantly collapsed. The martial arts arena's structure collapsed in an instant, and the entire floor cracked open as a huge explosion resounded in the air like 100,000 thunderclaps. What is that sound? Such a strong voice. It's the examinee's voice. Quickly go and see what happened. If even the tower question of God could sense it, one could imagine how intense it was. Beast King question of God, semi-god monster. His consciousness had already condensed the elementary form of a divine spark. This showed just how powerful it was, how powerful its aura was, coupled with its incomparably huge existence, caused all the demon beast within 1,000,000 kilometers to crawl on the ground without daring to make a sound. This was a crushing defeat. This was strength. The people from Martial Arts Arena were all dumbstruck, looking at this gigantic beast king question of God. They felt like they had seen a ghost. How was this brought out? This was brought out by Long Fei. Impossible. It was too shocking. How could she bring the beast king question of God out of the secret world? Unless he was tamed. Subdue the semi-god monster? It was impossible, impossible. Zhao Kong's face was pale white. His body was trembling, and even speaking was somewhat strenuous as he said, "Dragon, Long Fei, this was brought out by you?" Long Fei said, "Is that not possible?" Zhao Kong said solemnly, "I wanted you all to kill the beast question of God. Your result." Long Fei replied, "I'm hunting, but you didn't say that I'm hunting in the secret world. I can still hunt in the outside world. Moreover." Long Fei looked at the beast king question of God and slightly reminded Zhao Kong, "He really doesn't like you." Being stared at by a semi-god monster felt very bad, very bad. Long Fei had been urinating in the secret world for 10 hours. He had personally experienced that feeling. The beast king question of God kept staring at Zhao Kong. A look of contempt. Zhao Kong did not dare to raise his head, nor did he dare to look straight at him. His body trembled more and more. At this moment, the beast king question of God coldly said, "I heard you made my boss very unhappy." Gudong. Zhao Kong swallowed his saliva and shivered. "Your boss is who is it?" The beast king question of God's pupils shrank as the intimidating aura on its body intensified. With a berserk tone, it said, "Pretending to be confused with me?" Chapter 1460. 1. I'm not happy with you now. Chapter 1460. 1. I'm not happy with you now. All right. Then I'll let you know how powerful I am. As soon as he finished, Zhao Kong was so scared that his face turned pale, and he knelt in front of Long Fei and said, "I was wrong. I was wrong. Long Fei, I was wrong. I will never do it again. I beg you to spare my life." He was instantly scared to death. Zhao Kong did not have the slightest temper. What temper did he have facing the semi-god monster? Speaking of this beast king question of God, that was so cool. Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "You're wrong? What's the use of telling me?" And Long Fei lowered his body and gently said, "Now you know your wrongs." Too late. Finished. Long Fei took half a step back, and it was also at this moment the beast king question of God suddenly moved and roared at Zhao Kong with all its might. Boom, boom, boom. An explosion sounded in the air, a thunderous roar that was as heavy as a thunderbolt. Zhao Kong's eyes bulged out, and in the end, it directly burst, causing blood to spurt out from his eardrums. His heart, organs, and his entire body to explode. He couldn't stop it at all. This power, it was all a mess. Long Fei's heart almost jumped out of his chest when he saw this. If this was directed at him, he probably wouldn't be able to resist either. The strong will explode. He was extremely excited. He was really looking forward to it now. He absorbed the beast king question of God's power and displayed the contract and abilities power. What kind of feeling was that? Long Fei really wanted to experience it for himself. The power of a demigod. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Zhao Kong for obtaining 39,000 experience, 3,400 holy source, and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the ancient spiritual artifact, Spirit King Whip. It was instantly absorbed by the golden cudgel. The energy was filled to the 61st level. At the same time, Long Fei also looked at Zhao Kong's incomparably miserable death, shrugged, and said, "This was not done by me. It has nothing to do with me. You all saw it clearly, right?" Long Fei made an expression as if he was innocent. However, everyone knew that this beast king question of God was Long Fei's war pet. but no one dared to speak. Who is Zhao Kong? The examiners kill him as soon as they say he would kill him and completely crush him to smithereens. Who dares to have a temper? At this moment, the sky darkened and several figures descended. Looking at the incomparably huge beast king question of God, one of the old man's face darkened as he asked, "Why would the beast king question of God appear here? Isn't it supposed to be guarding Rift Soul Pass?" Both of Kai Tiannan's eyes were filled with anger, but he did not care as he shouted loudly, "Long Fei, you dare to attack an elder? You're courting death." In the midst of his rage, a strong, imposing manner heavily attacked Xiang Longfei. Longfei stood in place without moving and only gave a cold laugh. Just as the pressure was about to crush Xiang Longfei, the beast king question of God raised its hand and clapped. Pop! It was as easy as wiping out a soap bubble, and in an instant it completely crushed the pressure Kai Tianan released. And in that instant too, Kai Tianan suffered a strong backlash. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Wow! Long Fei became excited. Semi-realistic realm is truly mighty. When one reached even a tiny bit of that realm, it would be like turning the heavens upside down. The difference between a peak powerhouse like Kai Tianan and a semi-realistic realm would be like 1,000 miles, an insurmountable existence. Kai Tiannan's eyes were filled with anger. He shouted out, "Bastard, you dare attack me?" The beast king question of God glanced at it with both eyes and said disdainfully, "Little bastard, what happened to you? Who do you think you are?" He did not place Kai Tianan in his eyes at all. So fierce, so cool. The second elder of the tower question of God, an existence at the peak of powerhouse. However, so what? In front of the half-god powerhouse, he was nothing. Be it man or demon beast, it would be the same. As long as you were strong enough, you could crush everything. Beast King Question of God was the same. He actually submitted to Long Fei, and he would protect Long Fei with all his strength. Moreover, he could see a lot of things from Long Fei's body that made him excited. Kai Tianan was completely speechless from the pressure of the Beast King Question of God. His cultivation level was not high enough at all. Good, good, good. If you dare to be powerless to me, then you will never be able to return to the tower question of Goddess. You, Kai Tianan said angrily. The Beast King Question of God said disdainfully, "I don't want to go back." "Wait, don't. The other elders became anxious. The Rift Soul Pass was a very important place to the tower question of God, and it had to be protected by the powerhouse. Furthermore, no one was willing to go to that place, and only the Beast King Question of God could go. We can discuss it if we have something to say. Don't use battle chi. I just want to know who brought the Beast King Question of God to the secret world. If the Tower Lord finds out about this..." An elder looked at Kai Tianan. Kai Tiannan's expression also darkened, but he was not afraid. He coldly said, "Why are you looking at me like that? I am not an examiner. How would I know who brought Beast King Question of God to secret world? What do we do with Long Fei now? Killing an elder and ignoring the rules of a tower question of God. Such a person should be killed without question." Kai Tiannan's target was Long Fei. As long as he could kill Long Fei, everything would be fine. Long Fei laughed. "Second clan elder, I don't like hearing you say this. What do you mean by killing an elder? Did I kill him? Are you blind?" The Beast King Question of God said. "I was the one who killed him. I see that he is unhappy. I just want to kill him. That's surnamed Kai. How do you want to kill him? Do you want to kill me? I'm telling you, don't make me unhappy. Otherwise, you will die an even more miserable death than he does. You believe me?" He did not give any face at all. When had Kai Tianan ever done this before? Even the Tower Lord of the Tower Question of God would not dare to speak to him in such a manner. However, it couldn't be unleashed. He was not a match for the Beast King Question of God at all. Cluck, cluck. How preposterous. Kai Tiannan's gaze sank and said, "He called you boss, and said that everything he has done was at your instigation. Long Fei, do you still have any excuses?" Kai Tianan was like a mad dog, biting into Long Fei and refusing to let go. If he couldn't get the Beast King Question of God, could he not control Long Fei? This time, they were going to kill Long Fei. He could even subdue Beast King Question of God. If this goes on, this brat would really turn the tables. Long Fei sneered and said, "You won't let me go until you bite me, right?" Then, Long Fei glanced at the Beast King Question of God. The Beast King Question of God stared coldly at Kai Tianan and said, "I don't feel too good looking at you now." As soon as his voice faded, the entire audience went silent. It instantly crushed the entire audience. Chapter 1462, God's War Beasts. Chapter 1462. God's War Beasts, both of his eyes were like lanterns, staring straight at Kai Tianan. "I don't like you anymore." The voice of the Beast King Question of God pierced through everything and directly exploded in Kai Tianan's sea of consciousness. His face turned pale. Long Fei sneered. "Second Elder, do you want to kill me? Come on, try moving me." The Beast King Question of God disdainfully said, "You want to make a move?" Two voices sounded out. Kai Tianan was crushed like he had exploded. If he were to make a move, the Beast King Question of God would kill him with a single palm. He would not be able to live at all. Both of his eyes stared straight at Long Fei as he said solemnly, "Long Fei, the things today will not end like this. Just you wait." Long Fei laughed. "What are you waiting for? Let's settle the accounts now." The Beast King Question of God said, "Yes, even now we are clear." Kai Tianan swung his sleeves, coldly snorted, and said, "Bastard, you just wait for me to—" Not waiting for him to finish. The eyes of the Beast King Question of God changed. The air exploded with a sound, and it bellowed out, "Rumble!" The pressure was like thunder striking onto Kai Tianan's body. He did not have time to react, and his body sank down, falling down like a dog eating shit in an incomparably sorry state. The Beast King Question of God took a step forward, looked down at the ant-like Kai Tianan from above, and said, "Little bastard, your grandfather wasn't even born when this daddy used the semi-realistic realm, and you dare to clamor in front of me? Huh. Rumble. Rumble." A voice and a layer of pressure completely crushed Kai Tianan. Kai Tianan was so scared that he almost peed his pants, and his body was trembling. He felt this kind of semi-divine pressure, and it was too uncomfortable. He didn't dare to say a single word more. It was also at this time the other elders immediately tried to persuade him. "Lord Beast King, don't be angry. Elder Kai is also a straightforward person. You'd better not lower yourself to him." Long Fei smiled slightly. "Give me Long Fei face. Let him live like a dog." Kai Tianan was just a dog. There was no use in killing him. On the contrary, it would bring him unnecessary trouble. After all, he was the second elder of the Tower Question of God, and was also a symbol of the Tower Question of God. The Beast King Question of God snorted and said, "Scram! If you dare hoot in front of me again, I'll kill you." As if he had received an amnesty, Kai Tianan ran out of the room. He did not dare to linger at all, and did not dare to speak even half a word. "Don't go." The Beast King Question of God was instantly enraged. This was Kai Tianan was so scared that he immediately ran back to the Tower Question of God. Bullshit. He would be traumatized for the rest of his life. Once Kai Tian and left a few elders came over to Long Fei's side laughing. They were all elders of the Tower Question of Goddess, and they had to take responsibility for the matter of the Beast King Question of God leaving the Rift Soul Pass. He had to get it back. Lil, bro Long, shall we discuss it? An elder beamed. Long Fei said, "What do you want to discuss?" "What's there to discuss?" He thought to himself, "Talk to me, hee. That depends on how much oil you have." Another elder said, "Brother Long, you should also know that the Beast King Question of God is the Rift Soul Pass's guardian. If he does not protect the Rift Soul Pass, I am worried that many monsters will escape. If this were to happen, the Chaos Realm would definitely fall into chaos once again. So please focus on the big picture, and let us bring the Beast King Question of God back to the Rift Soul Pass." Rift Soul Pass, the place where the demonic beasts were suppressed. Hearing this, Nangong Yan's gaze tensed up. That was one of her ideas. If something were to happen to this place, then Chaos Realm would really do as he said, and would definitely fall into a storm of blood. These evil spirits were extremely cruel. Long Fei did not answer, but rather the idea asked the Beast King Question of God. "Do you want to go back?" Nothing else mattered. The will of the Beast King Question of God was the most important thing, even if Long Fei needed him to cultivate the fitted soul. But Long Fei still respected his decision. The Beast King Question of God was silent for a moment, and then said, "Rift Soul Pass does indeed need me to guard them. Otherwise, there might be trouble." This was the mission given to him by the powerhouse who created him. Moreover, at that time, he also swore that he would definitely protect this evil demon. Long Fei nodded and said, "Understood." And then Long Fei acted as though he was in a difficult situation and said, "Clan Elder, the Rift Soul Pass has nothing to do with me, and it is not my responsibility either. The Beast King Question of God has come out with great difficulty. He does not want to go back either." The Beast King Question of God did not speak. If Long Fei didn't let him go back, he would also agree. The elder looked at the Beast King Question of God and said, "Big Brother Long, the bigger picture is more important." Long Fei said, "I don't know the big picture. If it wasn't for the Beast King Question of God, I wouldn't have been able to protect my life. How about this? This is a Beast Master holy artifact. Treat it as a greeting gift from me. From today onwards, Beast Control Hall will definitely help you." An elder would usually be able to see through a Beast Master holy artifact. Long Fei stared at him and bellowed, "Who do you think I am? I really don't like this kind of trash." He said that he did not think much of them, but Long Fei had taken them all in. The Beast King Question of God suddenly spoke out. "It was Boss who saved me. Otherwise, I would still be inside the secret world. If you want me to return, then take out some sincerity. Good brother." Long Fei couldn't help but praise him in his heart. The faces of the few elders darkened. If the Beast King Question of God did not return, they would have no way of knowing. Moreover, if something were to happen to the Rift Soul Pass, they wouldn't be able to take responsibility. Gritting his teeth, an elder walked forward and said, "Little Brother Long, this is a divine beast soul. It can fuse with any war pet and increase your strength rapidly." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei had already received it. The Beast King Question of God said, "Sincerity, do you understand?" The few elders were on the verge of tears. An elder said, "This is a Beast Master Ball. Inside it is a divine beast. When the idea moves a bit, it will be thrown out, and it will explode out from the ball." Long Fei took it. The Beast King Question of God disdainfully replied, "It looks like you guys don't want me to go back. That's fine, too. I don't want to go back to that damn place either. Boss, let's go." Long Fei couldn't help but feel touched. This Beast King Question of God was too good. He sold himself, and even helped the boss count the money. He had to say it. Beast King question of God, were enough to be brothers. Moreover, was he trying to sell himself? Not really. The few clan elders were on the verge of tears. They really did not have much things on them. And just when the Beast King question of God was about to leave with Long Fei, an elder said, "I'm going all out. Little brother Long, this is a God's War Beasts." Chapter 1463. Relax, he can't live. Chapter 1463. Relax, he can't live. They were forced into a corner. If they couldn't bring the Beast King question of God back to the Rift Soul Pass to guard the demons, they would have to go to a place the ghosts wouldn't be willing to guard. That place is really not a place for people. He could only bear with it. An elder placed a space ring that he was extremely unwilling to part with into Long Fei's hands, and said, "Inside, this is a God's War Beasts. Although his level is not as high as a Beast King question of God, he will definitely not disappoint you." When the Beast King question of God heard the 3 words God's War Beasts, it immediately linked the idea to Long Fei and said, "Clerk, this is a fierce fellow. Even though his cultivation isn't as high as mine right now, his potential is much stronger than mine. This is a fierce beast that the ancient god temple bestowed to the Beast Control Hall. He is known as the God's War Beasts. This guy is extremely fierce. He will definitely be able to help you even more." The Beast King question of God said. He was very excited. Long Fei said, "No matter how strong he is or how fierce he is, in my heart, you will always be first." These words caused the Beast King question of God to be moved to a complete mess. Long Fei kept the God's War Beasts and said, "The Beast King question of God can go back with you, but you must allow me to go see him. He is not my beast, but my brother." The word brother moved the Beast King question of God's heart yet again. An elder frowned and said, "About that, Long Fei, you should also be aware that we are in the Tower question of God. You are currently in the assessment grounds and not the disciples of our Tower question of God. So what do you think? If you can smoothly pass the examination and become a member of the Tower question of God, we can let you meet the Beast King question of God freely." The other elders' expressions changed, wanting to stop him, but the elders stared back at them. What kind of place was the Rift Soul Pass? The demon god's land was locked up and absolutely must not be allowed to be approached by anyone. If something happened, the consequences would be unimaginable. Everyone in Beast Control Hall knew. Why would the clan elder agree to Long Fei's request? With Long Fei's current status, he did not have the qualifications to enter the Tower question of God. If one could not enter the Tower question of God, they would naturally not be able to enter the Rift Soul Pass. Long Fei did not even think about it and said, "All right, it's settled then." Then, Long Fei walked to the side of the Beast King question of God and said, "Brother, don't worry. I will definitely come and see you." The Beast King question of God's tears were about to fall out of her eyes as she said, "Boss, I'll be waiting for you." The Beast King question of God followed the Beast Control Hall's men and left. On the way, "Elder Hai, how can you agree to his request? That is Rift Soul Pass. If we accidentally let out a few evil spirits, we would be dead." An elder could not help but ask. It was a place where strangers were not allowed to approach. It was an absolute forbidden ground of the Beast Control Hall. It was also the forbidden grounds of the Tower question of God. And the Tower question of God's responsibility was to deliver fresh blood to the ancient holy battlefield. Other than that, there was also an even more important mission, and that was to suppress the demons in the Chaos Realm. These evil demon gods were all supreme monsters left behind from the ancient times. They were not allowed to run out, and even more so, were not allowed to enter the ancient holy battlefield. What if Long Fei came to attack Rift Soul Pass and let them out? The consequences were incalculable. That's right, Elder Hai. You should also discuss this with us. If something happens, who would be able to bear the consequences? The several elders were somewhat reproachful. Elder Hai smiled faintly. What are you worried about? You all just wait and see. Long Fei will never be able to pass the examination, and since he can't pass, he will definitely not be able to enter the Rift Soul Pass. What are the consequences? Does he really think he's that great to be able to pass the exam? Keep dreaming. Him. It was extremely disdainful. It was not because he looked down on Long Fei, but because he knew just how strong Kai Tianen was. Passing the examination, it was good that he didn't die. When the few elders heard this, they all laughed. Ha ha ha. Elder Hai is considerate. This Long Fei brat is too arrogant and wild. He does not know how to restrain himself at all. You must know that this is the Tower Question of God, a disciple taking the examination who has no support and wants to fight against Clan Elder Kai. I really do not know what is going through his mind. None of our business. After squeezing so much out of us, I can't wait for him to die right now. Elder Hai sneered and said, Don't worry, he will meet the king of hell soon. We can't even conquer the gods' war beasts and God's reward. Is it just him? He will definitely die from a slap from the gods' war beasts. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. The elders laughed out loud. The heaven martial beast was indeed powerful. However, since the Lord had bestowed it to them, they were unable to subdue it, let alone use it to fight. They were the peak beast trainer in this world. If they could not conquer the war beasts, then no one could. To Long Fei, the god's war beast was not a strong war beast, but a huge danger. Even the beast king question of God did not know about this. Long Fei was even more clueless. A tower question of God. How dare you? He actually used the beast king question of God to kill the elder. He must have eaten a bare heart leopard's guts. A white-haired, golden-furred old man, whose body was covered with golden ripples, shouted in a flustered and exasperated manner. Tower question of God great clan elder, Yen Tianluo. His nickname was Live Hades. Furthermore, he was a divine beast, and was also at the peak of the semi-god realm. His cultivation was incomparably powerful. Kai Tianen said, Great clan elder, if he were to continue acting so arrogantly, his tail might even reach the sky. Yen Tianluo frowned slightly and said faintly, I will take care of this matter, but what about the Beast King question of Goddess? How can the Beast King guarding the Rift Soul Pass be allowed to enter the secret world? If something were to happen to the Rift Soul Pass, who will bear the consequences? Kai Tianen immediately lowered his head, not daring to speak. He had secretly ordered Zhao Kong to do this. He originally wanted to have the Beast King question of God kill Long Fei, but he did not expect it to be conquered by Long Fei. Right, Yen Tianluo said. What happened during this period of time can't be told to Zhan Wushuang. And also, the matter of his uncle Zhan, home to being killed by Long Fei, can't be told to anyone either. Right now he has reached the stage of breaking through all 80, so nothing can disturb him. Wait for him to break through the 80th level first. Kai Tianen replied, Understood. The tower question of God's 80th floor was a barrier. It was a very important checkpoint. Breaking through the 80th level was equivalent to stepping into ancient holy battlefield. At this time, Zhan Wushuang absolutely could not be disturbed. Long Fei's residents looked at the space ring in his hands. Gods war beasts. Take a look at what level of beast it is. Chapter 1464, Breaking Through 80. Chapter 1464, Breaking Through 80. Fitted soul had to be cultivated. The appearance of the Beast King question of God made Long Fei even more determined to cultivate the fitted soul. He left. However, he actually did not leave. He was still Long Fei's war pet. as long as Long Fei needed it. He could rush over immediately. Long Fei was not stupid. How could he let such a strong boss fighter go just like that? And the semi-realistic realm allowed Long Fei to go on a rampage. The reason they let the beast king question of God go was for the future. Rift Soul Pass. Huff. Long Fei moved the space ring and said faintly, "Come out, God's war beasts." Buzz. The idea entered the ring, wanting to wake up the huge being inside, but the God's war beasts birds didn't even look at Long Fei, nor did they open their eyes. Damn, what arrogance! Long Fei was a little displeased and said, "My semi-realistic realm's beast king question of God have already been knocked down, and I still can't deal with you." The idea moved again. Buzz. The huge monster within the space ring still did not move, and still did not pay any attention to anything else. This made him unhappy. "You're not giving me face, right?" Long Fei's idea went berserk, exploding right in the middle of the space ring. Unmoved, very calm, it did not care about Long Fei's summons at all, and did not give him any face at all. F***CK, Long Fei cursed out, and roared, "You F***er, are you that bad?" "Fine, I don't believe it." Immediately, Long Fei was enraged. His idea carried the heaven-decimating sword and rushed into the midst of the space ring, slashing down at the huge monster. At this moment, rumble! An ear-piercing buzz sounded. The God's war beasts moved, standing up abruptly, its huge body releasing an intense pressure like that of thunder. Boom, boom, boom. Time and time again, he struck Long Fei's idea. In less than half a second, Long Fei's idea was shattered. His real face's body sank, puffed, spitting out a mouthful of blood. His face was pale white. The idea was crushed. Long Fei's sea of consciousness suffered a heavy injury, but his heart was filled with rage. It was also at this moment. Rumble! With an explosion in the sky, the God's war beasts fiercely rushed out of the storage ring. It stared coldly at Long Fei and disdainfully said, "I'm warning you, do not disturb my sleep. If not, I'll kill you." He was exceptionally valiant. It was even more tyrannical than the beast king question of God. The contempt and scorn in his eyes simply did not put Long Fei in his eyes. Moreover, his voice was filled with boundless killing intent, extremely intense. Long Fei was completely suppressed and could not even move. Humph! With a cold snort, the God's war beasts returned to the ring in the blink of an eye. They even ignored Long Fei, and even ruthlessly despised Long Fei. This, endure. The pressure from the God's war beasts disappeared, and Long Fei recovered back to normal. He immediately shouted, "If I get despised by a demon beast like you, how am I supposed to survive in the future? You bastard, come out." The God's war beasts ignored him. However, at this time, the Sleeping Beauty giggled and said, "He won't care about you. If you enrage him again, he really will kill you." You're still laughing? What background does this guy have? How could he have such a big temper? Long Fei's heart was engulfed in a ball of fire. He had even wanted to properly cultivate the fitted soul, but he didn't think that he would be able to get someone even more arrogant than him. The Sleeping Beauty said, "He should be a kind of demon beast on the ancient holy battlefield. This kind of demon beast might not be much in the ancient holy battlefield, but it should be an extremely terrifying existence. Just like the beast king question of God said, his current level might not have reached the semi-realistic realm, but his potential is to have the chance to become a god and cultivate a divine spark. It's hard to subdue him." Long Fei said, "Is it very difficult? How hard is it? I have already conquered the beast king question of God of the semi-realistic realm, but I am still unable to conquer him. Don't piss me off, or else I will really go crazy." Sleeping Beauty said, He is different from Beast King Question of God. He is disdainful of any powerhouse on this plane. He is a war beast of ancient holy battlefield. He has a prideful self-esteem that other war beasts cannot compare to. He will never surrender. Even if he is crushed by martial force, it's useless. But I have an idea, had already experienced that there was nothing Sleeping Beauty couldn't do. Long Fei immediately asked, "Sister, stop beating around the bush and tell me quickly." The Sleeping Beauty said, "Follow me to cultivate the beast mastery." It's that simple. Long Fei was startled. If the beast mastery was useful, then what can the elders of the Beast Control Hall do about the Heaven Martial Beast? Furthermore, Long Fei could tell from the Heaven Martial Beast's gaze, if anyone used beast mastery on him, he would definitely go crazy. The reason why he did not attack Long Fei was because of this. Once this guy went berserk, the scene would definitely be much more brutal than the Beast King Question of God. He was a true beast that had fought in the ancient holy battlefield before. The Sleeping Beauty giggled and said, "It's that simple. My beast mastery is different from the beast mastery of this world. It can control gigantic beasts that you cannot even imagine." The Sleeping Beauty smiled happily. "All right, I'll learn from you." Long Fei did not hesitate. The moment the idea moved, it immediately said, "You're a god's war beasts, right? Just you wait. I don't believe that I can't get rid of you." Zhao Kong was crushed, so the position of the examiners was not set yet. This made the examination come to a standstill. This also gave Long Fei more time to train beast mastery with the Sleeping Beauty. The reason why the examination stopped was because everyone in the Tower Question of God, including those Saint High in the Hand, were paying attention to one person, Zhan Wushuang. In just a few short days, his speed was like flying. Now, it was a critical moment. The 79th level. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The 5 elements took turns to attack. The overwhelming power of the 5 elements Saint struck towards Zhan Wushuang, but Zhan Wushuang remained unmoving, the energy in his entire body forming numerous vortexes. The moment the 5 elements Saint attacked, the seemingly ordinary longsword in his hand released a golden light. Zhang Xian's eyes twitched. His strength had increased explosively. A sword struck out. Sword God, break. One sword, one move. Very ordinary. However, the energy contained within it was something only the 5 elements Saint could understand. In that instant, the energy of the 5 elements suddenly came to a halt and was instantly destroyed. The 5 elements Saint flew out explosively. At this moment, a large door in the sky slowly opened, and with the spiritual energy of the God power, it began to move. The 5 elements Saint smiled and said, "Congratulations, you have passed the 79th floor." Rumble. The Tower Question of God was greatly shocked. Ha! Countless elders were excited. Too powerful. The number 1 person in history. An existence that no one can compare to. Kai Tianan laughed excitedly. "Now you can tell him, right? Long Fei, let's see how you withstand Zhan Wushuang's attacks." Chapter 1465. He's about to die. Chapter 1465. He's about to die. Ding. Secret technique. Beast mastery proficiency plus 2 points. Ding. Secret technique. Beast mastery proficiency plus 2 points. The system beep did not stop. Long Fei had not left her side these few days and continued to cultivate the beast mastery that the Sleeping Beauty had taught him nonstop. He wanted to finish cultivating the beast mastery as soon as possible and then defeat that powerful god's war beasts. Let's see how he dares to be arrogant. Continue. When the cooldown came to an end, Long Fei would instantly use it on a tree. The beast mastery was meant for Demon Beast, but The beast mastery that Long Fei cultivated was a secret technique that even trees could be released. A plum tree in the courtyard was easily taken away by Long Fei. Ding! Secret technique. Beast mastery proficiency plus 2 points. From day to night, from night to day, Long Fei did not stop. Early morning, Long Fei washed his face and rinsed his mouth, preparing to start cultivating the beast mastery again. At this time, the courtyard door was pushed open, and Yi Jingyun hastily ran in. Looking at the calm and composed Long Fei, he anxiously asked, "Young Master Long, how can you be so calm?" "Huh?" Long Fei asked curiously, "What's wrong? Should I be flustered?" Yi Jingyun looked at Long Fei's expression and said in shock, "You still don't know?" Long Fei asked, "What do you know?" Yi Jingyun said, "Yesterday, Zhan Wushuang broke through the 80th floor of the Tower Question of God. This matter spread across the entire Tower Question of God in an instant, and everyone was enthusiastically discussing it. This kind of talent and potential could be said to have never appeared before in the history of the Tower Question of God. Too sharp. The Tower Question of God at the 80th floor meant that he already had 1 foot in the ancient holy battlefield. Perhaps he could even reverse fate. Long Fei was also slightly shocked in his heart. 80 levels? Yi Jingyun said, "Even the 5 elements saint was defeated by Zhan Wushuang. It must be known that the 5 elements are too powerful, ordinary people cannot withstand it." Long Fei said, "Zhan Wushuang still has some skill after all." Yi Jingyun looked at Long Fei, who still had a calm face, and said, "Young Master Long, why aren't you in a hurry?" When Yi Jingyun broke through the 80th floor, the entire Tower Question of God followed his lead. "He definitely will not let you off, but I saw that the Tower Question of God examination was over, so we just gave up on it. Let's leave this place today." At this moment, Nangong Yen also walked in and said, "Yi Jingyun is right, we will leave right now." She was even more clear on what it meant to be a Tower Question of God at the 82nd level. Zhan Wushuang's potential, talent, and strength were all too strong. Furthermore, the current elders of the Tower Question of Goddess, as well as the Saintess, were all on one side, so no matter what Zhan Wushuang did or what he wanted to do, they would all stand on his side. In other words, Long Fei was extremely dangerous here. Nangong Yen grabbed Long Fei's arm and said, "Let's leave this place. We're not taking the exam." I give up too." Yi Jingyun said, "Young Master Long, let's go." There are definitely places in this world that he can't find. They were worried about Long Fei. Right now, Zhan Wushuang had too much power. Long Fei looked at them and said, "Are you all that afraid of Zhan Wushuang?" Yi Jingyun said, "What do you mean we are afraid? Everyone is scared. Right now, Zhan Wushuang is the darling of the Tower Question of God. We do not need him to personally do anything. Young Master Long, let's go." They were not worried about themselves, but more importantly, they were worried about Long Fei. Moreover, they also knew that Long Fei had killed 9 secret warrior families Zhan home to. And that's uncle wasn't going to take revenge? Then he's not called Zhan Wushuang. Nangong Yen said, "Long Fei, I know your potential is higher than Zhan Wushuang's, but we are only eggs now, and he is a giant rock." Long Fei laughed and said, "Thank you for your worries. Don't worry, no one can stop me, Long Fei, from what I want to do. No one can. You can go back. Cultivate properly. Don't worry about these things." Yi Jingyun still wanted to say something, but was pushed away by Long Fei and said, "Cultivate properly. Don't manage these matters." Nangong Yen said, "Right now, the entire assessment department is talking about when you were killed by Zhan Wushuang, and there are even some who made bets saying that you won't live past 3 days. Long Fei, just listen to my advice. The current Zhan Wushuang is no longer the young master of the Hellgate. He possesses an unimaginably powerful strength. Long Fei also pushed her out and said with a slight smile, "Don't worry, I'll definitely be fine." Clang! The courtyard door was closed. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly, and a ferocious beast appeared between his eyebrows. Tower Question of God, level 80? Humph! Long Fei looked like he did not care about it at all, not really caring about it. However, the moment he heard this news, an inexplicable strong pressure came crushing down from the bottom of his heart. It was very uncomfortable. The Tower Question of God were extremely strict with regards to the disciple examination. It was impossible for them to go easy, and it was also impossible for them to cheat. So Zhan Wushuang had used his own true strength to fight his way up. The 80th level, it could be said that this was an astonishing level of power, a powerful force. Right now, Long Fei had already broken through the 80th level without even going in the Tower Question of Goddess. This was a huge difference. It had to be said that Long Fei felt a strong pressure. The scene of their first meeting was still fresh in his mind. The feeling of the huge gap between their cultivations, the feeling of not being able to lock onto even the main gun. Long Fei was extremely unhappy with her tears. "Bring it on, Zhan Wushuang!" Long Fei shouted in his heart, and a strong will burst out, just like a wild beast ready to fight, and a bloodthirsty fighting spirit. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly. Again, ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for training and upgrading his beast mastery. Ding! Ding! Long Fei trained even more frantically. Other than the beast mastery, Long Fei was also continuously upgrading his light speed sword, the pure Lotus Demon Fire. All sorts of cultivation techniques and skills were needed for him to be at his peak condition at any time and anywhere. He wanted to fight. Zhan Wushuang. In another place, Tower Question of God, 57th floor. Zhan Wushuang stood in front of Xianyuan Lier. Xianyuan Lier sat cross-legged, with her eyes closed. She was cultivating and did not look at Zhan Wushuang once. After a long time, Zhan Wushuang said, "Lier, I've broken through the 80th level. Do you have nothing to say?" Xianyuan Lier did not open his eyes and coldly said, "Congratulations." The cold expression on his face made Zhan Wushuang feel extremely displeased. The anger in his heart surged, and the corners of his eyes twitched. He really wanted to slap Xianyuan Lier and vent his anger, but he didn't. Previously, he was worried that Xianyuan Lier would leave, but now he didn't. Zhan Wushuang sneered coldly and said, "Did you know that Long Fei is still alive? However, he's going to die soon." Chapter 1466. Bro's Good Skill at Flirting. Chapter 1466. Bro's good skill at flirting. Xianyuan Lier's eyes suddenly opened wide. But right at this moment, Zhan Wushuang's figure slowly disappeared, and his ice-cold smile still reverberated amongst the 56 gods' towers. "Ha ha! Lier, you will never see Long Fei again." "Ha ha ha!" Xianyuan Lier said. "Zhan Wushuang, what did you say just now? Is Big Brother Long Fei still alive? Say it clearly." "Still alive. Big Brother Long Fei is still alive." Suddenly, "Big Brother Long Fei is still alive. He's still alive. Fate has not died yet. I knew it. I knew it wouldn't be that easy for him to die." Then she thought about what Zhan Wushuang had said and was stunned. No, I can't let Zhan Wushuang touch Big Brother Long Fei again. I want to get out. I want to get out. The saint sitting on the 56th floor said lightly, "You are currently inside a god's tower. You cannot leave." Xianyuan Lier said without any hesitation, "I give up." The reason why she entered the Tower Question of God was to help Long Fei take revenge. Now that Long Fei was still alive, she didn't want to enter any more ancient holy battlefield. She wanted to find Long Fei. The saint on the 56th floor was slightly angered as he said, "What kind of place do you think a Tower Question of God is? Is it a place where you can leave whenever you want, or come to just like that?" Xian Yuan Li Er said, "I give up. I won't fight anymore. Clan Elder, please let me out." "How dare you?" The saint was enraged and shouted, "This is a Tower Question of God, not a house, Xian Yuan Li Er. If you want to leave this place, that is fine too, but if you want to break through a Tower Question of God, you can choose not to enter the ancient holy battlefield." Can you break it?" Xian Yuan Li Er was startled. Her profound spirit chi moved suddenly and said, "Clan Elder, I made my move." Shua. One sword for 10,000 shadows, as ethereal as an immortal. This sword was abnormally sharp. Saint's expression changed slightly as she thought in her heart. As expected, Zhan Wushuang is right. Her potential has yet to be fully unleashed. Ding. Secret technique. Beast mastery proficiency plus 2 points. Ding. Congratulations to the player, Long Fei, for leveling up. The current beast mastery is level 9. Huff. Long Fei let out a long breath. "Sister, is it okay now?" 5 days and 5 nights without rest. Long Fei continuously trained. He was about to become a madman due to the beast mastery. It was truly unbearable. And the plum tree in front of him also started to wither. It was as though his entire body was hollowed out. The sleeping beauty yawned. She would never wake up from her sleep, and said, "It's not enough to only have a level 9 beast mastery. I let you practice with that plum tree in front of you. I'll let you summon it." "What did you say?" Long Fei was confused. "You want me to summon the plum tree into my own war pet?" Continuous. However, he had never succeeded even once when he reached the 9th level from the 1st level. Not once. A tree, how could it be summoned into a war pet? No matter how powerful the beast mastery was, it could not do this, right? It was to control beasts, not trees. The sleeping beauty giggled and said, "The beast mastery that I am going to teach you is naturally different from ordinary beast mastery. You are going to use your idea to fuse and fuse with it, to cause the idea between you to resonate and connect together. Obviously, you have never thought about the feeling of this plum tree when you were training with it." Long Fei. "Sis, he's a tree. How do I know how he feels?" "If you have the guts, then make him speak to me." The sleeping beauty said, "She is a beautiful plum tree. Whether or not you can communicate with her is up to you. If you can summon her, I will teach you the ultimate profoundness of the beast mastery. When that time comes, you will definitely be able to summon your gods, war beasts." He. "Master, I think highly of you." Long Fei felt extremely bitter in his heart. He thought that he could start attacking the gods' war beasts once he reached level 9, but now he was going to conquer a tree. Too bitter. Long Fei looked at the plum tree and said, "Sister, how about we have an exchange? How old are you? What do you like to eat? How many plums do you pick every year? What kind of man do you like?" If someone were to speak further, they would definitely think that Long Fei had gone crazy because he was blabbering nonstop into a tree. For a full day, Long Fei was unable to find any methods. His mind was blank. At this moment, the sleeping beauty was lying on her side, sleeping soundly. Long Fei was incomparably depressed. "I'm about to go crazy. I'm really going crazy." But now, he had no choice but to do as the sleeping beauty said, because he needed to unleash the power of the fitted soul. He desperately needed it. As long as he grasped the fitted soul, he would possess the strength of a god's war beasts, and he would be able to stay in an invincible realm. Huff! Long Fei once again began to communicate frantically, constantly trying to seduce and communicate with each other, thinking of her as a beautiful woman, gentle, caressing just a little bit more than finding a tree hole and slapping it. Another day and night passed. It was unknown if it was because of Long Fei's communication or something else, but that plum tree actually started to radiate with new life, as if it was nourished by love. A new life. Long Fei secretly thought, this plum tree really wants to mature. Immediately, Long Fei slightly said, "Come, let me succeed once." The idea moved. With a wave of the beast mastery, the idea moved and entered a state of emptiness. Buzz. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for successfully activating beast mastery. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the war pet Plum Tree. A plum tree appeared in Long Fei's mind. He was unsure if he should be happy or cry. The plum tree can actually become a war pet. I'm really convinced. He couldn't be unconvinced. The Sleeping Beauty giggled. Master, I knew you would definitely succeed. Long Fei laughed bitterly and said, That's true. Big Brother's flirting skills are superb. The Sleeping Beauty smiled even more happily and said, It's a man. Long Fei was suddenly speechless. A wave of disgust. And one of his beauties, but it was a fake mother. Furthermore, she was a Scrooge after taking off her thick makeup. How unlucky was she? Long Fei wanted to die. However, he finally succeeded. There was only one last step left. God's war beasts. Long Fei said slightly, Now you can pass the ultimate profound meaning to me, right? The Sleeping Beauty laughed. All right, now I'll teach you the true meaning of the beast mastery. You have to listen carefully. This is a secret technique from the ancient times. Chapter 1467 was just one question. Did he submit or not? Chapter 1467 was just one question. Did he submit or not? The Sleeping Beauty's consciousness exploded in Long Fei's mind. Long Fei entered a state of oblivion as he crazily absorbed the profound mysteries that the Sleeping Beauty had passed on to him. My lord, are you still not making your move? Kai Tianen said faintly, her body naked. Right now, he wished he could destroy Long Fei, causing Long Fei to perish like smoke in the wind. Zhan Wushuang gave a cold laugh and said, No rush. In the past few days, he had been preparing, but at the same time, he did not even look at Long Fei because he did not want Xianyuan Li'er to find out that he was still alive. But now that he looked at it, Xianyuan Li'er felt that it was actually a type of thrill. In just 2 short days, Xianyuan Li'er had consecutively broken through all 3 levels of cultivation and immediately entered the 60 levels of God's Tower. Long Fei became Xianyuan Li'er's motivation. It made Zhan Wushuang very unhappy in his heart, but at the same time, it made him excited. He liked Xianyuan Li'er, and he needed the power from her even more. If he wanted to do another turn in ancient holy battlefield, he would need to obtain that power from Xianyuan Li'er. Long Fei's death had become her inner demon. Now, with the inner demon slash, her potential exploded crazily, and her speed was even faster than Zhan Wushuang's. The saint was already reassessing itself. At this time, a oracle walked into the hall and said, Sir, the assessment for the saint group has been completed. Zhan Wushuang replied excitedly. Speak, oracle said. 100 levels. Huh. Zhan Wushuang was slightly shocked by the result of the reassessment, and her heart tensed up. 100 levels? Junior sister Xianyuan, I have truly underestimated you. Your love for Long Fei has already sunk deep into your bones. I only said that he was still alive, and yet you revealed such great potential. All right, Very good. If that's the case. Zhan Wushuang's eyes flashed with a sharp light. The light was extremely cold, with a strong killing intent. Zhan Wushuang slightly said, "We can begin." Kai Tiannan, who was at the side, laughed excitedly and said, "Master, I'll go prepare now." Ha ha ha. Buzz. 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 A buzzing sound continuously exploded out from within Long Fei's sea of consciousness. The powerful energy of his consciousness continued to expand, as if it was implanted into Long Fei's brain. A full 2 hours passed. Long Fei's eyes suddenly opened wide, and he exhaled deeply. Phew! His entire body was drenched in sweat. He was completely drenched. Long Fei said excitedly, "Strong, she's really strong. Sis, your ultimate profound mystery is really strong to a ridiculous degree." When he was accepting the mysteries of the beast mastery, Long Fei saw a different world. A world that did not exist on this plane. The cultivation civilization, there was countless times greater than on this plane. Even Long Fei believed that those extremely powerful fellows of the main temple were not even comparable to the ordinary warriors of that world. Is that the primordial god realm? Long Fei asked softly. The sleeping beauty did not answer, because she was asleep now. Are you really ancient god? Long Fei looked at the sleeping beauty's perfect figure, and his heart was filled with suspicion and confusion. Who the hell are you? Huff. No matter what you say, you are still my man. Long Fei gripped it tightly. Then, the idea entered the space ring and lowered her voice. Gods war beasts, you bastard. Get the hell out here, right now. Right now. Even without any external help, Long Fei did not need to be afraid of the gods war beasts. The enormous being within the space ring did not have any reaction, directly ignoring Long Fei. Long Fei's heart was filled with fire. He shouted again, "I'm talking to you. Do you hear me? Get the hell out here. Let's see how you're still going to act so arrogantly today." Rumble. A loud sound came from the space ring. The gigantic gods war beasts suddenly stood up, staring straight at Long Fei, who was inside the space ring. All the energy in its body burst out. Buzz. He directly crushed it to smithereens. The gods war beasts let out a low growl and said, "Little bastard, I warned you before. Don't disturb my sleep. You won't listen, right? If you don't listen, then go to hell." Gods war beasts' temper was abnormally bad. They just started like that. This personality was similar to Long Fei's. As soon as he finished, the gods war beasts rushed out, its gigantic body standing in midair. At this moment, everyone in the entire assessment department was shocked. What's that? What kind of monster is that demon beast? He's too strong. He doesn't even belong to this world's demon beast. The aura emitted from its body is completely different from the spirit energy of the chaos realm. It seems to be a lot stronger than Beast King Question of God. It's above Long Fei's courtyard. What is this kid doing? Do you want to burn yourself by playing with fire? Tower Question of God Beast Control Hall. Ha ha ha. The gods war beasts is angry. That kid is dead for sure. Like I said, how can a trash like him control gods war beasts? Now that you have angered it, that trash is dead for sure. Several elders of the Beast Control Hall all laughed proudly. At the same time, a few elders flew out from the Tower Question of God. They were here for Long Fei. The gods war beasts' eyes were filled with contempt as she stared at Long Fei and said, "I gave you a chance, and you still want to provoke me? Then go and die." Extreme arrogance. There was no one in the chaos realm who was worthy of his interest. He is the gods war beasts of the ancient holy battlefield. He owns the heavenly king's blood vein. As a supreme existence, He disdained everything that happened in the lower realms. Furthermore, no one had the ability to control him, and no one had the qualifications to do so. Incomparable pride. Long Fei grinned and said, "Die? Come if you dare, don't worry. I will definitely not kill you. You're courting death." The moment the God's War Beasts was angered, it suddenly released a huge amount of power. The cracks in the space all rushed towards Xiang Longfei, incomparably huge. The entire sky-piercing mountain range was trembling. It could be said, the power that he unleashed was even stronger than the beast king question of God. Although it was not semi-realistic realm, it was stronger than it. Longfei became excited. Hee, strong enough, I like it. Seeing such a powerful attack come at him, Longfei was calm and composed, not worried in the slightest, and even had a slight sneer on his face. "You're mine now." The idea moved. Secret technique. Beast Master Supreme Mystery. Godly. Swish. After releasing a surge of power, the 1,000,000-point worth of Holy Source suddenly disappeared, and the power directly went through the burst of the Heaven Martial Battle Beast and entered into his sea of consciousness. Buzz. It exploded. In almost an instant, the God's War Beasts was controlled by this divine control, power. The God's War Beasts' eyes turned sinister as it let out an angry roar. "Little bastard, you dare." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei moved. Boom. The system sounded out. Ding. Chapter 1468. System Reward, God's Hammer. Chapter 1468. System Reward, God's Hammer. The system sounded out. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for successfully controlling the beast. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward from the system for the new battlefield God's War Beasts. The reward is the item God's Hammer Beast. The system sounded out continuously. The moment the system beep sounded, the power released by it also disappeared in a flash. From start to finish, Long Fei had not moved an inch, because the success rate of beast mastery that the Sleeping Beauty had taught him, 100%. Just like that. It's just that the consumption is a little too much, and the consumption can reach 1,000,000 Holy Source. That's a little too much. God's War Beasts, keep it in your mouth. You want to be arrogant with me again? Come on, come on. Long Fei started to become complacent as he looked at the God's War Beasts that was absorbed into the beast space. He was like that. They were initially mocked by the God's War Beasts, but now they were naturally mocked back. Although the God's War Beasts was conquered by Long Fei, he didn't even know why he was conquered by Long Fei. Without another word, Long Fei immediately released the God's War Beasts and said, "So what if I let you out?" The God's War Beasts roared in anger. "Let me out and it will be your death date." Boom. Roaring furiously, Zhang Xian felt as though his strength had exploded. However, without waiting for him to attack Long Fei moved and laughed. "You want to kill me? You can forget about it for the rest of your life." He directly took the God's War Beasts back into the War Pet space. The attack disappeared. Following that, Long Fei released the God's War Beasts and said, "I let you out again. Come and touch me." He had a complacent look on his face. Long Fei's expression was as despicable as it could be. "You're ignoring me? Now that your life is in my hands, I'll play whatever I want. I won't die playing with you." The God's War Beasts was extremely angry and attacked again. Without waiting for his attack to fall, Long Fei moved and kept him inside the War Pet space, chuckling, "Come again, I won't be able to play with you." After saying that, she let him out, "Come again. Contempt me? I'm not happy with you. So what if it's a war beast from ancient holy battlefield? In front of me, even if you are a god, you have to kneel down, you understand? The gods' war beasts said solemnly, "Little bastard, I don't believe that I can't control you." Yet another force was taken back by Long Fei once again. Again and again, the gods' war beasts was directly destroyed by Long Fei. Long Fei laughed complacently. "I'm just asking if you're convinced or not." "Unconvinced? Then let's continue." Long Fei laughed and continued to work for the entire afternoon. Long Fei enjoyed playing with the gods' war beasts. The Heaven Martial Battle Beast was beaten to death by Long Fei. He was completely unable to take care of himself. He had never been played like this before, even in the ancient holy battlefield. The gods' war beasts wanted to break through Long Fei's control, but not at all. The control of the idea in Long Fei's sea of consciousness was something he simply could not do anything about. Divine control beast. This was no ordinary beast taming power. Are you convinced? I'm just asking if you're willing to accept it or not. Long Fei shouted. The gods' war beasts was at its limit. If this carried on, he would be played to death, gasping for breath like a cow, and said, "I surrender, I surrender, I surrender. All right, just take it." Long Fei knew that the gods' war beasts was still unconvinced, but he said that it was fine, and then the idea moved and summoned the gods' war beasts again. "We should have done that earlier. Why are you asking for trouble?" While they were talking, Long Fei took out the system reward god's hammer, beast, and threw it onto the body of the gods' war beasts. "This is for you." The gods' war beasts began to think little of it and said disdainfully, "What good stuff could there be in this low plane?" Very disdainful. However, when he picked up the god's hammer, his eyes bulged and his expression immediately became lifeless. He had a stupefied face and looked at the god's hammer, willing to not hesitate to use his hands. This weapon, wow, this. He was so excited that he was at a loss for words. This was exactly what he had done. The items rewarded by the system were especially poor. Long Fei said indifferently, "A single weapon can make you this excited?" He had no future. "Follow this, bro, and I'll make sure to let you eat, drink spicy food. You'll get whatever you want. Do you want to go back to the ancient holy battlefield?" The gods' war beast was truly moved because this weapon was truly extraordinary. Long Fei gifted it to it without thinking. This was not something that an ordinary person could do. If he did not give it to him, who else could Long Fei give it to? This was a weapon used by Demon Beast. He couldn't use it. When the gods' war beasts heard Long Fei say, "Return to ancient holy battlefield," her eyes widened in shock, and she said, "If you can bring my ancient holy battlefield along, even if I have to work hard, I won't even furrow my brows." That's what I wanted to hear. Long Fei was overjoyed and said, "There is nothing that I, Long Fei, can accomplish." I said that I will bring you to meet the ancient holy battlefield, so I will definitely bring you back. The gods' war beasts was excited. The chaos realm was too meaningless to him. His gods' war beasts was born for battle, and the ancient holy battlefield was their true home. He dreamt of meeting the ancient holy battlefield. However, those people from the beast control hall always wanted to control him and keep him here. Long Fei was the first to say that he would bring him back to the ancient holy battlefield. While they were talking, the gods' war beasts knelt on one knee, bowed deeply, and said with incomparable seriousness, "Boss, submit." He had truly submitted to Long Fei. In terms of the fitted soul's fusion, the gods' war beasts' submission allowed Long Fei to absorb 100% of his power, and she instantly absorbed the gods' war beasts' power into her own. He had to be completely subservient to them. Long Fei smiled faintly and kept the gods' war beasts in the war pet space, thinking in his heart, "This is great. I can cultivate fitted soul now." In an instant, he absorbed all of the gods' war beasts' power and instantly gained the gods' war beasts' strength to crush everything It was also at this time, at the courtyard door, Yi Jingyun rushed in anxiously and said, "Yong, Master Long, it's bad, it's bad. They're here. He's here." Long Fei's expression recovered. "What is it?" Yi Jingyun said, "Kai Tianen is bringing a few clan elders and a large group of Oracle S over. The people who have come are not kind. Young Master Long, what do we do?" Long Fei said indifferently, "We will deal with it whenever we can. What are we afraid of?" Yi Jingyun said, "This time is different. I'm afraid this time Kai Tianen will use real power, and the Beast King question of God is not here. What are you going to use to resist him?" Long Fei smirked. "How can I block it? Is the God's War beasts enough?" Chapter 1469. Stunned. Chapter 1469. Stunned. Long Fei! "Get the hell out here." A furious roar. The gate of the yard was kicked out with a bang, and the two pieces of door flew into the yard. At the gate, Kai Tianen stepped in, followed by a large group of people, a few elders of the Tower Question of God, a large group of Oracle S, and finally Feng Tian and the other examination disciples who were watching the show. "Ha ha ha. Long Fei, let's see how you escape today. He's dead for sure. Offending Patriarch Kai, how could he have any good results? It will be hard to escape death today." Many people started discussing. Feng Tian laughed complacently. "Long Fei, you dog, if you don't have a Beast King question of God, how can you still be arrogant? The Beast King question of God is the demon beast of the semi-realistic realm, which meant that if he could crush Kai Tianan, other people's words could not do it. The Beast King question of God was not here, but Long Fei, there was no way to block it." Long Fei was slightly angered and sneered. "Clan Elder Kai, you destroyed my courtyard door, yet you brought so many people to barge into my courtyard. What are you trying to do?" Kai Tianan sneered and stared at Long Fei. "What are you doing? I'll take your life." Long Fei acted as though he was shocked and said, "You want my life? Patriarch Kai, did you forget how terrible you looked just a few days ago when you pissed your pants? Last time, I gave you a chance. This time, if you dare to be cocky again, I will not be polite. Very arrogant. Not the slightest bit of fear." Kai Tianan's eyes gushed with anger. He clenched his teeth and said, "Brat, you still dare to be arrogant. If I don't kill you today, I, Kai Tianan, will have the same surname as you." As soon as he finished, a few Oracle S suddenly moved, all rushing forward, surrounding Long Fei. Yi Jingyun stood beside Long Fei and said, "Elder Kai, Yong Master Long is still an assessment disciple after all. What right do you have to make a move against him? What did he do wrong?" Kai Tianan coldly looked at Yi Jingyun and said, "Who do you think you are? Do you even have the qualifications to talk to me?" Yi Jingyun's face darkened. Nangong Yen also squeezed through the crowd and said, "Clan Elder Kai, for no reason at all, you want to kill the disciples taking the examination. How do the people of the world view the Tower Question of God?" Feng Tian laughed coldly and said, "Long Fei disregards his elders, killing innocent people and even killing a few elders. Today, Clan Elder Kai cannot tolerate it anymore. Long Fei has brought this upon himself." The flattery was loud and clear. Kai Tianan laughed coldly and said, "I don't need any reason to kill him. Do you know why? Because, Sir Wushuang, I will kill you. Do you understand?" Kai Tianan sneered. He had already planned everything on the way here, with Long Fei's result at the bottom. This kind of person was destined to not be noticed by others, not by the Tower Lord. So if he died, he died. Moreover, with Zhan Wushuang's influence, no one dared to say anything. Kai Tianan's finger moved slightly and said coldly, "Kill." As soon as he finished, 8 Oracle S suddenly attacked Xiang Longfei at the same time. Longfei's eyes darkened. "Kai Tianan, I think you are tired of living. Kai Tianen sneered and said, "Little bastard, you must be tired of living." Long Fei's power exploded. Boom! With the sword of destroy in his hand, he moved shua. In a flash of lightning, an oracle was instantly killed. Light-speed sword had already been cultivated to the second stage, and its speed was even faster. One of the oracle S fell. The corner of Kai Tiannan's mouth curled into a cold smile, and he said, "Long Fei, I didn't have a reason to touch you just now. Now, take the examination, disciple Long Fei, and kill oracle. According to the law of the Tower Question of God, you deserve to die for your crimes. Kill them all." Kai Tianen laughed. "Long Fei, you are just a small ant. I can play however I want." Ha ha ha. That's great, isn't it? Of course, being humiliated, the anger in his heart never subsided. He had to take revenge. Killing Oracle was a heinous crime. Moreover, the clan elder following Kai Tianen was not any other clan elder, but an elder of the law enforcement hall. No matter what, they had just witnessed Long Fei killing Oracle. The law enforcement elder of the Tower Question of God had personally witnessed it himself. This time, Kai Tianen was going to put Long Fei to death, and would definitely not give him any chance to recover. This was Zhan Wushuang's method. Kai Tianen slightly said, "Are the elders from the law enforcement hall still not going to enforce the law?" The four elders moved slightly, their bodies moving as fast as lightning, instantly standing in 4 different directions from Long Fei. One of them said, "Long Fei, I advise you to surrender." Long Fei said, "Since you are all together, then why do you need to find those reasons? You want my life. If you have the guts, come and get it." The faces of the 4 elders sank. How arrogant! Do you really take yourself seriously? In the blink of an eye, the 4 of them instantly moved. Their speed, strength, and cultivation were all many times higher than those of the Oracle S. Kai Tianen laughed complacently. "Fight with me. I'll play with you until you die." Ha! Many of the surrounding disciples mocked him. Long Fei is too arrogant. This is good. The law enforcement hall's elder has personally come. This time, even if he has wings, he can't escape. Serves you right. Under the pincer attack of 4 elders, he definitely won't be able to live. Trash should have died a long time ago. Many people began to mock him. Long Fei was the savior of their lives. No one was grateful. Right now, everyone wanted to show off their skills in front of Kai Tianen and ruthlessly stomp on him a few times. This was the human heart. The law enforcement hall's elders were exceptionally powerful. The 4 of them working together had formed a strong pressure that completely suppressed Long Fei, causing him to be unable to breathe. Suppressed. Kai Tianen laughed proudly. "Long Fei, what are you feeling so good about?" "Ha ha ha. A trash like you, who doesn't know the limits of the world, wants to flip the heavens? You want to fight against Lord Wushuang? Who do you think you are?" He was very proud. He was extremely pleased with himself. It was simply too easy for the 4 law-enforcing elders to crush Long Fei. Kai Tianen didn't even need to do anything. At the same time, he did not have any form of defense. In this kind of situation, it was impossible for Long Fei to attack him. However, he didn't understand Long Fei at all. "Aren't you proud of it? You like to laugh, right? Hee hee." Long Fei constantly noted the fluctuations in Kai Tiannan's aura, and the moment his aura was about to recede, Long Fei fiercely roared loudly. God's war beasts! Rumble! Roar! With a roar, the gods' war beasts rushed out of the war pet space. In its hand was an incomparably large god's hammer. "You are the arrogant one here, aren't you? I'll blast you to death." God's war beasts and Beast King Question of God were different. He was even more irritable. Moreover, He would not hold back. A single strike from the hammer would be all of his strength. At this moment, Kai Tianen was stupefied. Chapter 1470, Sky King Blast Kill. Chapter 1470, Sky King Blast Kill. His aura was sharper and his strength more powerful. The scene of the gods' war beasts cooperating with the god's hammer. He couldn't stop it at all. A hammer blow descended. Ah! Kai Tianen didn't have time to react and could only yell in fear, ah! Pa-chi! The sound was as though a cockroach had been trampled to death. Fresh blood spurted out, and her body turned into a pile of minced meat. It was as though the entire world had quieted down. The 4 law-enforcing elders stopped. The surrounding oracle retreated a few steps. The faces of the spectators turned pale and did not dare to look straight at Long Fei. At this moment, Long Fei crushed everything. The god's warhammer in the god's war beast's hands moved and returned to its shoulders. It coldly snorted, "You dare to be arrogant with me? You are not qualified." It was incomparably domineering, extreme arrogance. The beast king question of God only crushed you, causing Kai Tianen to pee his pants. On the other hand, the god's war beast's killing intent was extremely strong, killing you the moment there was a single word. Just like that. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Kai Tianen for obtaining 280,000 experience, 20,000 holy source, and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the ancient holy artifact Sky Sword Strike. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the ancient blood vein. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. The system sounded out continuously. Ding! Ancient holy artifact, Sky Sword, has been absorbed. Energy completed. Current energy is at the 71st level. The ancient holy artifact could increase the energy level up to 10 levels from the 61st floor to the 71st floor. And furthermore, most importantly, the golden cudgel's energy had not filled up completely. The power of the second stage of the main artifact had yet to be unleashed. 71st. Long Fei was extremely excited in his heart. What kind of power does it possess? What kind of power is the Sun Wukong? Really excited. I'm looking forward to it. At this time, an elder of the law enforcement hall said with a sunken voice, "Long Fei, kill an elder." Long Fei said straightforwardly, "Stop bullshitting and don't stop. You all should know why he died. If you guys are not satisfied, you can also come up now." The god's hammer heavily fell from the god's war beast's hands to the ground. Rumble! A loud sound was heard as the god's war beast spoke in a deep voice, who is not convinced. "I'll hit him until he gives in." A man and a beast, their auras soaring to the heavens. So what if it was the law enforcement hall of the Tower Question of God? Unconvinced. Just get down. The expressions of the 4 elders from the law enforcement hall turned sinister as they said in a low voice, "Long Fei, this is a Tower Question of God. You dare to be so arrogant." Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei interrupted him once again. "Don't bullshit with lousy, all right? If you want to fight, then fight. If you do not dare to fight, then call some people who dare to fight. Also, go back and tell Zhan Wushuang, the 80th floor is nothing. Don't let this daddy in, otherwise his poop will explode every minute." Long Fei was not stupid. Kai Tianen was obviously Zhan Wushuang's dog. Similarly, Long Fei was not afraid. The 80th level is indeed impressive, but so what? Who could block the energy filling of the 71st level? The law enforcement elder's expression became even more unsightly. He glanced at the god's war beasts beside Long Fei and frowned. "Long Fei, you're too arrogant. If I can't suppress you today, where is the prestige of my law enforcement hall? Long Fei's imposing manner directly caused them to be unable to breathe. The law enforcement hall. How exalted were they? When had they ever been humiliated like this and taken the examination as a disciple? This made them even more unhappy. Long Fei laughed coldly in disdain and said, I am so sorry. I have been this arrogant since I was young. Come up. Boom. He took a step forward. One of the clan elders rushed forward fiercely, all the energy in his body exploding out. With a flash of golden light, he struck Xiang Longfei. Longfei did not move. The god's war beast's hammer moved. Boom. It was as though he was playing golf. Whoosh. The law enforcement elder was directly sent flying and turned into a ray of light in the sky. His entire body had disappeared without a trace. This power, strong performance. The gods were besneered. Try touching my boss again. How preposterous. Long Fei, kill the oracle and the second elder. Now, you still have to kill the law enforcing elders. The law enforcement elder was furious. Long Fei was too arrogant. Even the elders of the law enforcement hall dared to make a move. What was this called? This was courting death. Feng Tian and the others started laughing complacently. This kid is sick of living. He dares to kill anyone. He's simply lawless. That's better. Young Master Feng, he will definitely answer us here today. Ha ha ha. Serves you right. I've never seen such a rampant person. He deserves to die. Against the law enforcement hall, this was a true challenge to the tower question of God, and was not an ordinary matter. If Long Fei dared do such a thing, the tower question of God's human powerhouse would definitely be angered. This way, death is absolute. Nan Gongyan wanted to stop her, but she was simply too late. Things were developing more and more quickly than she had expected. Things were completely under control. Rumble. Another hall elder was blown away. The gods war beasts sneered coldly. You guys can't even take a single blow. Do you think you guys can make a move on my boss? Rumble. Yet another elder had been crushed. Out of the 4 law-enforcing elders, only one was left. Long Fei's finger moved slightly and said, Continue. Long Fei, you've caused trouble. Then the law enforcement clan elder said solemnly. Long Fei sneered and said, What's the big matter? It's a huge matter, but it's not a big deal for me. Aren't you going to kill me? Then come. You're not coming, right? Gods war beasts. Boom. The gods war beasts suddenly moved and rushed forward. The gods war hammer in its hand suddenly hacked out, causing a series of explosions in the sky, and a series of crackling sounds from lightning overlaid the hammer. Boom, boom, boom. A hammer blow descended. At the same time, the sky suddenly darkened as a powerful force covered the sky. He then shouted, You dog, stop. Buzz. It was as though the heavens were suppressing him. It was as if the sky was suddenly pressed down upon them. It was as if the sky had collapsed. He couldn't bear it. Long Fei's legs were trembling. He had never felt such pressure before, but Long Fei glanced at the gods war beasts and roared, Kill. He had to do it if he didn't want to. If he was unhappy, he would kill. Crushing your father? This father is even more unhappy. Under the pressure of a semi-divine might, he was incomparably valiant. The person who was falling down from the sky was none other than the great clan elder of the tower question of God, Yen Tianluo, semi-realistic realm, an existence that was powerful to the point of being terrifying. Hearing Long Fei's voice, Yen Tianluo became even more furious. Impudent! He shouted. A bolt of lightning struck down from above Long Fei's head in a fit of rage, and in that instant, Long Fei's body could not bear it. Activate Resurrection Ring. The tempo of being insta-killed. The health point was going crazy. At this time, Long Fei still did not retreat and shouted, "Kill!" Chapter 1471, Fusion. Chapter 1471, Fusion. Don't be afraid. Gobble him up. The more he crushed, the more Long Fei wanted to kill him. Moreover, at this critical juncture, Long Fei needed experience. He needed tens of thousands of experience. Boom, boom, boom. The health point above Long Fei's head was plummeting crazily, as if it was 10,000 times stronger than normal, causing it to drop by a large amount. He couldn't bear it, but he still ordered the gods' war beasts to continue killing. The reason why Yen Tianluo was able to suppress Long Fei was because his cultivation was low, but the cultivation of the gods' war beasts was not weaker than Yen Tianluo's. "Brat, you dare!" Yen Tianluo roared and started killing right under his nose. What was this? The law enforcement clan elder also asked, "Long Fei, are you tired of living?" "Rumble." Yen Tianluo unleashed an even stronger force. Long Fei did not go to defend. He had no way to defend himself, since it was impossible for him to do so. Even if he were to use all kinds of power, he wouldn't be able to withstand it. Cultivation was the foundation of everything. Long Fei was still only at the stage of the star-ranked. Even with his Shura's body, he couldn't use his full power and couldn't resist it at all. Level. It was the main melody of possession. It was the source of all power. Without a rank, it would be useless even if Long Fei used a heavenly treasure. He couldn't use his full power either. Long Fei sinisterly roared out and said, "Come then!" Rumble. Rumble. Yen Tianluo and the gods' war beasts' attacks landed at the same time. Long Fei's body sank, and he almost fell to the ground from the explosion. His face was pale white and incomparably painful. The sickle of death seemed to want to reap his harvest. That feeling, death. His health point plummeted, and in a short moment, he reached the bottom. "I'm going to die," Yen Tianluo coldly snorted. His one move was enough to crush any powerhouse below the semi-god realm and instantly kill them. Naturally, Long Fei could not block it either. "You overestimate yourself." Yen Tianluo snorted coldly. He could see everything that happened to Long Fei with his own eyes. How could a Long Fei block his attack? It was extremely disdainful. However, a strange scene happened. Long Fei was about to die, but his body released a loud sound, and a warm current rushed in, causing his power to suddenly become stronger. All the attacks disappeared from within his body. It was completely incomprehensible. He was getting stronger. Yen Tianluo could clearly feel that Long Fei had broken through in that instant. He had leveled up. As Long Fei's health point was plummeting, gods' war beasts hammered down several times, turning the law enforcement elder into meat paste. The system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing law enforcing elder for obtaining 190,000 experience, 10,000 holy source points, 10 energy values points. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently level 8. What did leveling up mean? It meant that any pain, any injury, and the power of attack would disappear in an instant. Long Fei's blood was instantly restored, and he was completely out of the control of any power. This was the power of leveling up. He clenched his fists and growled, Your father will not die." Rumble. An explosion sounded in the sky, and it was extremely shocking. A bolt of lightning streaked across the horizon, shining onto Long Fei's sinister face. There was not a single wound on his body, and everyone looked at him as if they were looking at a monster. Was he even human? Could the power of the semi-realistic realm, with its heaven-defying might, be stopped? Long Fei was not a human. Not only did he block it, he even made a breakthrough in that instant just now. What was this called? Even Yen Tianluo didn't understand it for a moment. Boom! Yen Tianluo landed heavily, stared at Long Fei, and said coldly, "Breakthrough, all the injuries in your body have disappeared. All the injuries have healed. I have to say, Long Fei, you are very special. However, even if you are special today, you will still die." Long Fei stared coldly at Yen Tianluo and said, "You want to kill me?" Yen Tianluo sneered, "You must die." Long Fei laughed. "What if I don't die today?" "Not die." Yen Tianluo found it very funny and said, "Don't worry, you will definitely die." Who could live under him? He was the king of living hell. All below the demigod level are ants. Whoever wanted to die had to die. Thus, even if Long Fei had exploded his special power just now, in his eyes, Long Fei was still the same, an ant. Long Fei said, "I just want to ask you, what if I don't die today?" "Die. But you?" "Huh. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha." Yen Tianluo began to laugh loudly. He looked at Long Fei and said, "Was I the one who died?" "Long Fei, I have to say, you really know how to tell jokes." Many of the surrounding people also began to laugh loudly. "Ha ha ha. Long Fei, you know who he is?" "Long Fei, you are overestimating yourself. You dare to be so arrogant in front of the great clan elder? Just you wait, he's going to die soon. I'm just looking at him, kneeling on the ground and begging for mercy. He must be really good looking, ha ha ha." The great clan elder who killed the semi-realistic realm. It's a fantasy story, right? Nangong Yen and Yi Jingyun were startled. Did Long Fei kill them red-eyed? In the chaos realm, the semi-realistic realm could be said to be an existence that went against the heavens. It was simply impossible to kill it. Everyone mocked Long Fei for overestimating his own abilities. Long Fei also started laughing, and her laughter was very cold. At the same time he laughed, the gods' war beasts landed beside him. Yen Tianluo looked at the gods' war beasts and laughed coldly. With just him? Gods' war beasts. The war beasts that the ancient holy battlefield has dropped are indeed not bad, but if I want to kill someone in the chaos realm, no one can stop me. It's the same with the gods' war beasts. The gods' war beasts disdained and said, "If you have the guts, try it." He had a fiery temper. However, the gods' war beasts sent a sound transmission to Long Fei and said, "Boss, this guy is too strong. I can't stop him. You don't need to block. I need your strength now." Long Fei laughed lightly, looked at Yen Tianluo, and said, "Kill you? I don't need help. Kid, you are truly arrogant. To be so arrogant in front of me, there can only be one outcome, and that is die." Suddenly, Yen Tianluo moved. His speed was heaven-defying. He rushed to Long Fei's side in almost an instant. At this moment, Long Fei slapped the gods' war beasts and roared, "Fitted soul! Gods' war beasts, give me your strength. Rumble." In an instant, all of the gods' war beasts' energy was sucked into Long Fei's body. Under the effect of 1,000,000 points of spiritual academy value, Long Fei's own energy fused with the gods' war beasts' energy. His aura exploded. He struck out with his fist. "You know your father is crazy, then you still dare to make a move." Chapter 1472. Defeat in one move. Chapter 1472. Defeat in one move. Everything happened in a flash. Yen Tianluo rushed forward. Long Fei absorbed the gods' war beasts' power. He punched out. In that instant, the two forces collided. Golden light shot in all directions, and the sky darkened. It was as if the surrounding air within 1,000,000 kilometers was instantly sucked out. Instantly, the spatial tear quickly spread out. It was densely packed like a spider web in the sky. This scene, it was like the end of the world. The collision of energy caused such a huge sensation that it was extremely terrifying. Yan Tianluo's eyes turned sinister. Your strength. Long Fei grinned and laughed sinisterly. What about my power? Fierce, right? Ha ha ha. There's more to it. Destroy the heavens. With his left hand, he summoned the Sword of Destroy. Buzz. Without using the holy source to catalyze it, the Sword of Destroy automatically combusted, and crazily combusted as the power of the sun god authentic artifact burst out. Boom, boom, boom. The sun god's idea, which was within the group of Sword of Destroy, slightly moved. Yang Yuan, sword chi burst out. Long Fei's left hand moved. Raising the great sword, he said excitedly, I'll let you experience a more ferocious power. A voice rang out. Heaven decimating slash. As the sword slashed down, the flames exploded out for 1,000 miles. The dense spiderweb cracks burned as if the sky was on fire. The scene was indescribably terrifying. Even a layer of the sky was about to be destroyed. Yan Tianluo's eyes darkened. His mind was trembling. He had never seen such powerful strength. The limitless yang qi carried an endless amount of God's power. The power of a true God. Flee. In that instant, Yan Tianluo's mind raced. He knew that he would not be able to withstand this sword strike. If he continued to attack Long Fei, he would die here. He roared in his heart. Rumble! The golden light around Yan Tianluo's body completely exploded outwards as he shouted in a deep voice, Long Fei, you think that a trash like you can kill me? Keep dreaming. A wave of energy rebounded, and Yan Tianluo fiercely shot out. You want to escape? Humph! Long Fei laughed coldly and said, I'm a trash? Then why are you still running? Who is the trash? Ha ha ha. A few loud laughs rang out. Long Fei formed a palm with his fist and said with a heavy voice, Suck star over China God, get back here. Could a duck that was in his mouth make him fly? His grandmother. Long Fei definitely could not let Yan Tianluo escape. A semi-realistic realm boss like this, it was like fat flowing oil. How could he let Yan Tianluo escape? Suck star over China, divine level power explosion. Furthermore, with Long Fei's current cultivation, he was at the same level as the gods' war beasts. Thus, the power he released was also at the same level as the gods' war beasts, so strong that it felt like it was going to explode. Suck star over China was also good, no matter if it was the Sword of Destroy sun god power of life. It was all because of the gods' war beasts' level. Only under such circumstances was Long Fei able to raise his cultivation technique to its peak. Once the Suck star over China appeared, a black hole appeared in Long Fei's palm, like a cave. He continued to crazily absorb the energy. Yan Tianluo, who originally wanted to escape, was sucked in by Long Fei's strength in this instant. He could not escape at all. Yan Tianluo struggled with all he had. The power of the semi-realistic realm continued to impact, but it was not enough to stop him. It was simply impossible to break through Long Fei's power. The power of the fitted soul was too strong. The two powers combined into one. To a certain extent, it surpassed the semi-realistic realm. He completely crushed Yan Tianluo. Go to hell. As the heaven-decimating slash came crashing down, Long Fei let out a furious roar. The roar was not directed at Yan Tianluo, but at the figure that floated in the air in the depths of the sky. A cold figure. There was no change in his eyes. Zhan Wushuang. From the moment Long Fei executed the fitted soul, he had already appeared. The fitted soul was a profound art exclusive to his uncle Jean Hongtu, but now it was grasped by Long Fei. His expression turned sinister and became abnormally cold. However, he did not move, because he knew that even if he moved, it would be useless. However, there was not the slightest trace of fear in his eyes. In fact, there was even a hint of disdain in his eyes. And just like before, he did not place Long Fei in his eyes at all. Even though Long Fei's cultivation could suppress the powerhouse, he still looked down on him with contempt, because his strength had absolutely suppressed Long Fei's. Rumble! The sword slashed down. Kacha! A loud sound was heard. Yen Tianluo's head was chopped off, blood spurting out and splattering everywhere. Long Fei stared at the air without moving, looked at Zhan Wushuang, and shouted coldly. Zhan Wushuang, continue targeting this, Daddy. Come on. Rumble. A flash of lightning. Zhan Wushuang's ice-cold voice sounded, and he said, Long Fei, you're not worthy enough for me to attack you, just like the distance between you and me. You can only forever look up to me. Do you understand? You don't even have the qualifications for me to attack. Cultivate my uncle's fitted soul? So what if we kill Yen Tianluo? In my eyes, you're still trash. Trash. Rumble. Lightning wreaked havoc, shining onto Zhan Wushuang's body. He stood there motionlessly, like a god. Cultivation base. His aura and his calmness were completely different from before. His cultivation was much stronger than he had imagined, to be able to break through the 80 levels of Tower Question of God in such a short period of time. Long Fei was enraged and felt extremely unwell in his heart. His right foot shook. Rumble! His body shot into the air like a rocket, the idea connected to the golden cudgel, and the energy of the 71st level was activated anytime. Arrogant! I don't believe that I can't kill you today. The energy was filled to the 71st level, which was prepared for Zhan Wushuang. I don't believe I can't kill him. Humph! Zhan Wushuang laughed coldly, a look of contempt in his eyes as he said, You? Rumble! Zhan Wushuang's right foot suddenly shook, and the golden light around his body exploded like a golden magic shield. I'll let you know what a difference is. Without waiting for Long Fei to get close, suddenly, a shiny golden shield appeared in Zhan Wushuang's hands. Main artifact, God's shield. This was the key that made it impossible for Long Fei's main gun to lock onto him. Look at it. Long Fei's eyes lit up. It's mine. The idea moved. And just as he was about to activate the 71st layer of energy, Zhan Wushuang took a step forward and activated a strand of energy. The golden energy on the god's shield suddenly turned into a beam of light. Sky God's heavy strike. Rumble! The golden light shot towards Long Fei's body like a laser cannon, leaving him no time to react. Rumble! Rumble! His entire body was blasted down, creating a deep crater. The crater was tightly bound by the golden light and could not be moved at all. Chapter 1473. Enormous Gap. Chapter 1473. Enormous Gap Move. Bullet. No. Damn. He was completely crushed. Moreover, and it was even under the release of the fitted soul. This difference. It was unimaginable. Long Fei struggled crazily, but it was completely useless. The golden hoops on his body continued to move, and the more he struggled, the tighter his restraints got. The strength of a god's shield, an existence that was incomparably valiant. You can't do it. Zhan Wushuang condescendingly looked down and coldly laughed. Killing you is as easy as crushing an ant. Endless savagery. Long Fei stared at Zhan Wushuang, who was in the sky, and felt extremely uncomfortable in his heart. He thought that the difference between his current cultivation and Zhan Wushuang's was not that big, and he thought that the energy main artifact at the 71st floor was enough to kill Zhan Wushuang. But he was wrong. The mistake was outrageous. He couldn't even get close to Zhan Wushuang, much less touch the corner of his clothes. Even if he released the energy from the 71st level, he would still not be a match for it, because the god's shield in his hands exceeded Long Fei's expectations. It was truly too powerful. Long Fei was pressed into the deep pit. His eyes were bloodshot, and his heart was in incomparable pain. He was growing, he was becoming stronger. However, Zhan Wushuang was also becoming stronger, and the strength and resources he had obtained were far more than Long Fei's. The mysterious 9 secret warrior family, the enormous cultivation resources within the Tower Question of God were crazily being provided to Zhan Wushuang. Breaking through the 80th level was not something that anyone could do. Zhan Wushuang's face was filled with fear, and he coldly sneered. Long Fei, you don't even have the qualifications to die at my hands. Do you understand? With just you want to fight me? You want to snatch junior sister Lear from me? Are you worthy? What qualifications do you have? As his words fell, every word was like a thunderbolt that struck right into Long Fei's mind. It was even more unbearable than being crushed. The difference was too great. Long Fei clenched his teeth so hard that he was about to shatter them. He couldn't say a single word because, now that he had been crushed, he didn't have the qualifications to say anything. For the weak, all words are pale. Zhan Wushuang looked at Long Fei with contempt and said, "Take care of yourself by peeing. See what kind of virtue you have." Ha ha ha. Zhan Wushuang laughed madly, retracted his power, and said, "Long Fei will forever live in the shadow of my fear." Laughter filled the sky. Everything within a 10,000-kilometer radius echoed. Zhan Wushuang's figure slowly disappeared into the horizon. In the pit, Long Fei clenched both his fists tightly, his nails digging into his flesh, causing fresh blood to flow out, as though he could not feel any pain, no matter how much pain his body felt. It was not even 1,000th of the pain in his heart. He thought that he could crush Zhan Wushuang, but reality is, The rage in his heart exploded as Long Fei roared towards the sky. With a hideous expression, the veins in his body bulged. When the magic body's killing intent frantically spread out, Long Fei was slightly unable to control himself and wanted to go berserk. He felt really bad. He was crushed while he was still in Yuanyang clan. The woman was robbed. Now, even though he was being crushed, even after all these years of hard work, he still could not shake Zhan Wushuang, nor could he take revenge. Only Long Fei himself knew what this kind of pain meant. I'm really listening to Zhan Wushuang's wild laughter. Long Fei went crazy in his heart and roared continuously. The blow was too great. He thought he had everything ready, but in just one move, he was defeated by Zhan Wushuang. He was powerless to resist, and he couldn't even get close to Zhan Wushuang. The difference was too great. Nangong Yen saw Long Fei almost go crazy from self-abuse. Her heart ached for him, but she couldn't even say a single word. She didn't know how to comfort Long Fei. Yi Jingyan did the same. He stood at the side of the giant pit and silently looked at Long Fei, not knowing how to comfort him. They had all seen the gap between them. It is insurmountable. It wasn't that you could change, it just by cultivating diligently. There was simply too much of a difference between the two. While you were working hard, others were also working hard, making it impossible for them to catch up to you. The giant shield in his hand could easily kill Long Fei with one move. None of them could stop it. However, Long Fei did not know that the last move had consumed 300 of his ancient spiritual artifact. However, the ancient spiritual artifact were an endless supply to Zhan Wushuang. The 9 secret warrior family were all collecting ancient spiritual artifact for him. The energy in his god's shield filled up to thousands of levels. They were both main artifact, and both of them possessed the same kind of power. But the more powerful the god's shield in Zhan Wushuang's hands, the more Long Fei could naturally not withstand it. Tower question of God. Zhan Wushuang frowned. In just a few short years, you have become so powerful. I have truly underestimated you. Long Fei, to be able to kill Yen Tianluo of the semi-realistic realm. This was no ordinary strength. At that time, if he had not used the power of the god's shield, I'm afraid, he was simply unable to suppress Long Fei. The energy filling the 200 floors disappeared just like that, making Zhan Wushuang extremely unhappy in his heart. This energy was all prepared for the ancient holy battlefield. Consumption 200 floors. Zhan Wushuang immediately said, "Send a message to my father. Tell him to prepare another 200 ancient spiritual artifact." "Yes, young master." A servant left. One of the elders spoke slightly. "My lord, why didn't you kill him?" Long Fei being tied up was an easy task for Zhan Wushuang to kill him, but it did not happen. The corner of Zhan Wushuang's mouth lifted slightly and said, "He can't die yet." The old man asked, "Why?" Zhan Wushuang looked at the distant sky and the golden divine tower floating under the sun, then said softly, "For Xianyuan Li'er, he cannot die. I don't care about Long Fei's life. Killing him is easy, but I can't let him influence my plans. Xianyuan Li'er must break through the tower question of God, must break through the 100th floor and enter the ancient holy battlefield." Zhan Wushuang laughed. His laugh was very sinister. He did not kill Long Fei because he wanted to provoke Xianyuan Li'er. And only if Long Fei could unleash the potential within Xianyuan Li'er's body would he be able to break through the tower question of God. He wanted the power in Xianyuan Li'er's body. Everything he did was for that power. From the moment Zhan Wushuang was born, he had been carrying the burden of the 9 secret warrior families' rise. As a descendant of God, he had to restore his family to the peak of their spiritual power. Who dared to stop him? They all had to die. Long Fei. It was just that he died a little later. Zhan Wushuang laughed coldly. Long Fei, once Xianyuan Li'er breaks through the 100th level, it will be the time when your life will be lost. In the yard, Long Fei crazily cultivated his cultivation technique, over and over again, as if he had gone mad. Every time he used all of his strength, he would act like a mad demon. I want to become stronger. I must become strong. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.